On today's Pardon My Take, oh boy, we have a lot of football to talk about. An incredible super wild card weekend. I feel like all I've been doing the last 48 hours is watching football. It has been glorious. We're going to recap every single game. We're going to talk about the Browns getting their first win in forever. We're going to talk about the Bills getting their first win in forever. What an awesome weekend for those two franchises. We also have Kirk Herbstreit on the show, long overdue, with an announcement about a new advertiser. And we're going to break down the college football championship game, which we will be watching tonight. More football on deck. So we have a packed, awesome Monday show. One of our best shows ever. I'm just going to predict it right now. We haven't recorded it yet. One of our best shows ever. And we're going to do it with the Cash App. The Cash App is the best app in the world. We're in the Cash App studio. Pardon My Take is always brought to you by the Cash App. Not only is it the easiest place to send money to your friends, it's the safest. Go download the Cash App right now. Oh, no. Big Ben is just sitting there by himself.
Just staring off into the future.
Oh, no.
No, Ben, this is so sad.
Oh, no. Sad Big Ben is making me sad.
He's just by himself, not blinking.
Sad.
He's going to watch so much porn this offseason.
All right, so the Cash App. The Cash App is the best. The Cash App is the best. Go download it right now. It is the best app in the world. If you download it and you put in code Barstool, you get $10 for free, $10 to the ASPCA. That easy. And yeah, it's so easy to use. It's the coolest app on your phone. I'm saying sad Big Ben is making me sad. I'm just gonna tweet that real quick. It made me sad. All right, Cash App. Download it. Use code Barstool. You get $10 for free, $10 to the ASPCA. Do it right now. Do it for us. Do it for the Cash App. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by the Cash App. Go download it right now. Use code Barstool. You get $10 for free, $10 to the ASPCA. Today is Monday, January 11th. Super wild card weekend. Super wild card weekend. Woo! We start in Western New York, where Bills fans were saying Frank Party like a rock star as Buffalo hosted their first playoff game since Buffalo Bills Clinton was getting blowjobs in the Oval Office, as Captain Josh Allen and the rest of the Seamen were decked out in their blue dress shirts getting ready to smoke a very sticky victory cigar. Despite the Colts' best effort, F4? Rodrigo, darn, you sunk my Blankenship. Jack Doyle in water found separation, scoring a touchdown late to make the game close, but in the end, Phillip Rivers Phoenix ended up dead as Josh Allen Joaquined into the end zone, and after a 25-year wait, it feels great to say,
no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Bills 27, Colts 24.
We head out west to Seattle, where John, hungry like the Wolford, Duran directly into Jamal Adams' shoulder, ending Jared's golf day. Louis C.K. Metcalf was complaining about unfair press coverage, as all he wanted to touch his balls, and a lot of people are saying he could permanently be locked up in jailin'. Ramsey, that is. Aaron MacDonald took his McRibs off the menu, leaving the game in the second half, and it's feeling like Titletown, as Cam Los Angeles Acres took down Cecil Wilson and the Seahawks 30-20.
In Nashville, where the Ravens were trussing with the boys, big truss, Lamar, Janet Jackson, and Justin Tucker Timberlake exposed the Tennessee Titans on live television. The Ravens defense said to A.J. Brown, omelette, wait, what's the word?
Omelette
gonna you score, but Lamar I missed the word when I wrote it, Tej, but Lamar Jack's sunny side up connected with Marquise Brown for an answer, saying, that's all, yokes. Mike Greenberg-Vrabel put on his sandwich-eating glove and surrender punted in the fourth, but his wife will be happy his penis remains safe for another year. John Harbaugh with the ball, the bang, diggy, said up chuck the boogie, had his kids rocking in the divisional round. Ravens 20, Titans 13.
In Washington, strike that in Rowell John, Maryland, where Indomitian stormed the Capitol and attempted to sue let the Bucs against the football team. In a battle of wide receivers, Mike Thank Evans was open 24/7, and Terry McLaurin, Manuel Miranda couldn't be wrapped up. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spineke put out a couple hours of good film. And Stephen Shea was happy as Lynn E.R.D. Fournette gave Washington a Pharrell. 31-21.
Standing on a corner, Jameis Winston down in NOLA, such a fine sight to see. It's a Mitch, my lord, taking home the award. Yeah, he's got an MVP. Give him hell, son. Try to tell them they're moving up the power rankings with young Sheldon. The Saints go marching 21-9.
And we finish in Pittsburgh, where the Browns and Kareem and Nick were believable, yeah. Big Ben troubled to foul time at the end of the first half, and Kevin McAllister Stefanski was home alone, and in a touching tribute to Aaron Rodgers, made his family disappear. Thanks for the donation to the Barstool Fund, Aaron. That was very kind of you. TJ turned down for what? And Lil John Poo-Poo Shit Dooster couldn't wipe the Browns off their butt cheeks as the Browns crushed the Steelers 48-33. Some spread.
All right, super wild card weekend in the books.
I think that was the best super wild card weekend we've ever had.
Oh, there was a moment on Saturday, and we're going to break down every game. We're going to start with the Sunday Night Football, and then we'll go back in time to the beginning of Saturday. There was a moment on Saturday. It was right after the Rams-Seahawks game, and it was perfectly timed. That game ended, and computer just crashed down.
Lost the monitor.
We just
Billy,
lost the monitor. Billy, that's okay.
Propped the monitor up with some beer cans.
We're going to play through it. Actually, you know what? While you guys put the monitor back up, I'm going to do a quick ad read. Let's just do that.
Okay.
All right. Jackpocket is back. On Part of My Take, that's where Jackpocket is the Mega Millions and Powerball jackpots. They're now worth over $500 million each. That's where Jackpocket Lottery App comes in. Jackpocket lets you play official state lottery games right on your phone. Play Powerball, Mega Millions, Cash for Life, Pick 10 plus other daily games right on your phone. Jackpocket is now live and available in New York, live in 10 states total, including New Jersey, Texas, and more. It is super easy to use. You just download the app and you can play the lottery from your app. Over 20 million in prizes have been won on the app. Last week, a Jackpocket player won $1 million playing Cash for Life in Jersey. So play tonight's Mega Million or Powerball Jackpocket for free using code Barstool. Download the app, use code Barstool at the checkout screen, and you can play the Mega Million or Powerball Jackpot pot for free tonight. Download Jackpocket for free from the App Store. Go to jackpocket.com. Must be 18 or older. Play. Jackpocket is not affiliated with any state lottery. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, residents of NY, call 1-877-HOPE-NY. Residents of Oregon, call 1-877-MY-LIMIT. All others, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit jackpocket.com/TOS for full terms of service. Major draw dates during the week are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So check it out, jackpocket.com, or download it in the app. Okay, we're clear. We got the monitor back up. We're good to go. What I was saying was there was a moment on Saturday when the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams finished their game, and it was so perfectly timed that I was like, you know that moment when a game ends and you're like, what do I do now? And I was like, oh, yeah. And I just hit up on my remote. I was like, oh, here's another game. Great. Mm-hmm. Don't even have to move. That was all weekend. It was just beautiful football, and the Bears also played. Beautiful football, wall-to-wall, 6 games, great drama, and we ended Sunday Night Football with the Cleveland Browns winning their first playoff game since 1994 in an ass-kicking of their longtime foe, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The first time that Big Ben has lost to the Cleveland Browns in Pittsburgh happens in the playoffs, and it was awesome
You have to wonder if that Bernie Kosar jersey that's buried outside the stadium had something to do with it. Or you might wonder if maybe this had something to do with it. Juju Smith-Schuster,
Big
before
Ben's
the
crying.
game,
PFT, I
he's
gotta
crying.
interrupt you. He is literally crying.
No, Big Ben.
That was really sad to see.
Pain. I mean, that prolonged zoom in that they had on him, it was, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh, this actually makes me sad.
This is very sad. I mean,
and his chin's looking really fat.
You don't know if this is Big Ben's last game in Pittsburgh, or at least he'll say that it is at some point. Big Ben's definitely going to do, I need to take some time this offseason with my family to discuss, and by family he means all of his sperm, mini sperm.
That kind of broke me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. We might have lost 2 legends this weekend. But all right, go ahead.
So
back. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Juju Smith-Schuster, before the game, he said, "I think they're still the same Browns team I play every year. I think they're nameless gray faces. They have a couple good players on their team, but at the end of the day, the Browns is the Browns." Well, guess what? These Browns is not the Browns. These Browns is those Browns that we saw against the Tennessee Titans for half. These Browns just won their Super Bowl, because I don't think anybody expects the Browns to go out next week and beat the Chiefs. I know I don't. I think the Chiefs are probably going to house them, especially if they're missing all of their offensive linemen like they appear to be. But this was the Super Bowl for the Browns, and they did it. And maybe, just maybe, the issue wasn't that Juju Smith-Schuster was dancing on opponents' fields and doing TikToks. Maybe it's just that Juju Smith-Schuster is addicted to giving bulletin board material.
Yes, I was gonna say, like, how has Juju Smith-Schuster not learned his lesson on that?
Well, he did. He stopped dancing.
Yeah, that's true.
So you need to. Mike Tomlin needs to spell it out for him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this game, this was the ultimate Michael Corleone gift. Just when I thought I was out, they reeled me back in. We thought this game was over. 28-0. I mean, most teams, when they go up 28-0, you're like, this game's over.
And it felt like it was over actually
Corleone.
after the very.
Was my point.
Who was it?
Just when they thought I was. Oh, it's Paulie Walnuts.
I mean, it's Michael Corleone.
No, it's Hank's right. It's Paulie Walnuts in Sopranos did that. Or no, it wasn't Paulie Walnuts. It was.
What am I?
Is Van Zandt.
It's Michael Corleone.
So in The Sopranos,
it
when
is
he's doing
literally
the impression,
Godfather
Hank,
3, which I can understand
impression.
why you would forget.
Silvio's doing an impression of the Godfather.
Right. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
He thought that Silvio invented that. I love it.
You only watched one season of The Sopranos.
I might have had the wrong Michael. My bad. That's
okay, all right. So, back to what I was saying. Michael Corleone.
The game should have been over after, like, it felt like it was over after the first snap, because I think everybody.
No, Michael Corleone was that's not the guy that does that gif.
What are you talking about?
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
It's not just a
That's Michael Corleone.
It's this guy. I'm sorry for
That's Michael Corleone.
I thought Al Pacino was Michael Corleone.
That's Al Pacino.
Oh, wow. All right.
I thought you were saying, no, why would you ever think this game was over? It's the Browns. Instead, you were fact-checking him. Yeah, that's Michael Corleone. All right, we got to all watch The Godfather in the offseason, even though
I'm going to read the book.
3, my cable provider has been, like, trying to make me watch 3 recently. Does anyone have Verizon? They've literally... It's just ads for 3. I'm like, I'm not watching it.
Have
dude.
you just been talking about
The
Godfather a lot?
Yeah,
and it's like a suggested ad.
I've been like,
here, let's try something.
Fact check me. He's gonna be wrong.
Let's try something real quick. Godfather 3. Godfather 3. Godfather 3. Let us know if you get any suggested ads for watching Godfather 3 now.
All right. So just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. The Browns, 28-0, and ass kicking. And obviously the first touchdown was a fluke because it was a high snap. But so we all said to ourselves, oh, okay, the Browns got a lucky one, whatever. No. They fucking kicked their ass.
Yeah.
Like, they were running the ball down their throat. They had that moment in the third quarter where it did get a little hairy because they don't have a head coach. And you thought, uh-oh, the Steelers can do this. Like, all the momentum's going their way. And then right when the Steelers had all the momentum, Mike Tomlin decided to punt from 4th and 1.
Chicken shit football. Well, it's because the Steelers can't get a yard. There are times when the Steelers have the ball when they need 2 or 3 yards, and they can get 2 or 3, but they can never get 1. And so Mike Tomlin pulled a chicken shit move when most coaches would do the thing where they say, if we don't get a yard, we don't deserve to win, so let's go for it. Mike Tomlin, he cut off his eyelids. He always talks about, like, you can't blink if you cut your eyelids off. He cut his fucking eyelids off.
The craziest part to me was you had all the momentum, and then the Browns, it took them like 3 plays to get exactly back to the same point of the field where you would have given the ball to them if you had gone for it and not gotten it. I did see one person, and I love this idea, that the Steelers, and some teams should do this at some point, they went to the line in punt formation. They tried to get him off sides. They took a 5-yard penalty to delay a game. Why not fake it then?
After you get the 5-yard
penalty?
No
one's expecting it.
Yeah, no
one's expecting you to do a harder fake.
I actually think if you're going to punt the ball there, don't bring your punter out there. You have the best pooch kicking quarterback of all time, besides probably Michael Vick, in Ben Roethlisberger, who can punt the ball.
Literally has a boot
within the 10-yard line every time he tries.
Yep.
And they ended up kicking it out of the back of the end zone, get a touchback, and like you said, the Browns drove down the field very easily. This does validate our take that the Steelers were the worst 11-0 team of all time.
Ooh, was bad.
So I was saying earlier this year that the football team broke the Steelers, which they did in a way, but this goes back even further. The Steelers have not won a playoff game since Blake Bortles broke the Steelers.
Well, in this game, funny enough, this game was almost a mirror image of it because it was the Browns jumped on them. Like the Jaguars, remember, were up 28-7 in that game. Big Ben ends up throwing for like 500 yards.
He had the most completions in NFL history today.
Like the whole game felt like catch up for the Steelers, and it was like I think the game kind of broke at the end of. When was it? The end of the first half. Yeah, it was the end of the first half when the Steelers scored, made it 28-7, and you're like, okay, this could be a game in the second half, and then the Browns just went right back down the field and scored again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an ass kicking, and I'm so happy for Browns fans. That was probably their best, for many Browns fans, definitely their best moment in their life. You have a date with the Chiefs next week, but don't fucking worry about that.
Yeah.
This was
your Super Bowl tonight.
This is a full on enjoy this till like Friday night, maybe kind of wake up and be like, oh, yeah, we got to play the Chiefs this weekend. Friday night. You get until Friday night to just bask in it. And this is something we talked about a million times. It's probably the most relatable sports fan thing. If you're a Browns fan, you take tomorrow off, not because you're so hungover. No. You take tomorrow off so that you can sit your ass on the couch and watch every single hour of SportsCenter and every debate show and that is the best feeling when you win a playoff game and you get to sit there and you get to read all of the recaps and you get to even go and read like are the Steelers done? Is Big Ben retiring? You get to read the other team's message board. Mm-hmm. Everything. Soak it in. It is it's nirvana. It's better than winning the game.
Yeah.
Winning the game is fun. Like the afterglow of being able to just consume all of sports media, including this show right now, is the best.
Get Up hits different after a playoff win. It really does. And you're going to have Ryan Clark just like talking in the highest pitched voice possible, saying blow the entire thing up. It's going to be a real treat for Cleveland Browns fans. And you're going to have all day Saturday to get drunk and watch football without having to worry about your team and what's going to happen in the game. So you get a bonus extra weekend essentially of football, and plus almost all day on Sunday
and
before you have to play
3 o'clock.
And you're still in it, and there's still a Team of Destiny vibe because it is Swagger's death day on Super Bowl Sunday. So you never know. You never know at this point. But it's this season is a victory for the Browns. Congrats! Yes. The Cleveland Browns have won the Super Bowl of Ohio.
Baker was phenomenal tonight. Without a head coach, which is significant because it did feel like in that third quarter, we were sitting there being like, really would have been nice if they had a head coach right now because it felt like it was slipping, and they had a couple drives where they just went run, try to pass for a long third down punt. And you're like, okay, they're just trying to hope the clock runs out. And then they woke up a little in that fourth quarter, scored a couple more times. Cody Parkey didn't miss any kicks.
Mm-hmm. Jarvis Landry, the most important player on that Browns offense, was great.
Awesome.
Van Pelt, he was the guy that was coaching, right? He got to throw a challenge. He got to throw a challenge flag.
Just to
that was cool. He did it for real no reason for the challenge.
No,
but he was like, you know what? I might not get this opportunity again. I'm literally going to leave it on the field. I'm going to throw a challenge flag out there.
It was the shocking part to me. I mean, we all knew the Browns were a good football team. They got to the playoffs. They won, 10 games, 11 games. No, now 11 games, but they won 10 games. No, they won 11 games.
They won 12 games.
They have 12 wins now. So
that would take Hugh Jackson like 40 years to do.
Yeah, we all knew they were a good team, but I think it was incredible how much they were able to have their way with the Steelers defense, which wasn't what it was to start the season when it was the number one defense, but it still is a top 10 defense, and it has like some dudes on it. So, if you had told me the Browns won, I would have thought, oh, okay, well, they won a low-scoring affair that they were able to get a couple bounces. No, this was a straight-up shootout, and they kicked the shit out of the Steelers.
Yeah. What we learned was that practice is overrated this week. The Browns didn't practice at all. They weren't allowed to practice. They did like Zoom meetings. They did everything remotely because their coaching staff was all sick. And so they didn't practice. They were fresh.
I'm happy they won too, just because
Allen Iverson was right.
It would have sucked. It would have sucked to have that entire, they got screwed by the NFL, which I think they kind of did, but not have that. Have it be like, all right, you won, even though you didn't have a coach. That had to be the coolest thing ever for Kevin Stefanski to be sitting in his basement watching it by himself and being like, holy shit, we're going to win this game.
Yeah.
Like,
what kind of snacks do you think he had going?
I
feel like
know.
he might have been one of those coaches that's like too nervous to eat.
I don't think he ate. Yeah.
Oh, he had the COVID, so he can't taste anything.
So that's when you should eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. If you
should be
can't
eating,
taste anything,
like gefilte fish.
I would be slamming like tequila, moonshine.
Going on
I'd be like, I don't
lowering the
taste any of
bar.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did get a chuckle out of people tweeting that the Steelers should fire Mike Tomlin. Now, whether they should or they shouldn't, I don't think they should.
No.
I don't think he's had a losing season in like 20
Ever?
years. The Steelers don't fire coaches. So if you thought a 4th and 1 punt was going to get Mike Tomlin fired, you haven't paid attention to the Steelers organization.
Yeah,
They will be back next year. They will probably win between 10 and 12 games. But we don't know what the future is for Big Ben because 4 interceptions. He looked oldish. Threw for a shitload of yards against a defense that was kind of playing prevent for like a half.
And he just can't move. That's the bigger issue. Big
what do you
Ben
think he does?
can't move. Do you think he just gets a walking boot permanently attached?
What do you think? What do you think he's going to do?
Big Ben, I think
Just
maybe you just put me on and just kick your tootsies up on the couch. And
Maybe pull up your True Religion jeans
Ben,
and slide into this boot.
we care a whole heck of a lot about you, and we just like to take a little time for us.
We can't keep doing this, Ben. You're fucking 75 years old in football years.
You missed me, Ben. We fit so good together.
Let's sit down. Let's have a nice sit in the boot. Listen to some Christian rock. Throw a football to our kids in the backyard. Call it a career.
Ben, you know what? Well, just for old time's sake, why don't you mosey on over to youporn.com. See what all the new videos are. You haven't touched any of them.
How about you just retire for the next 3 months and then we'll come on back?
Ben's going to pull a Lamar Odom and watch every porn video on the internet. He's going to be done with it.
He's going to die from gas station boner pills, but it's going to be just in his office.
He's gonna,
Like he didn't go anywhere.
Well, guys, my elbow injury is acting up again. Can't figure out why.
I hope he doesn't retire. I don't think he'll retire. I think he'll retire. You said it. I think he will retire for like 2 months.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to retire.
There'll
but
be a
he's
lot
not
of
going to
thinking
stay
about
retired.
his stories. Yeah.
If they had made it to like the AFC Championship game, I could see him walking away. But this is going to leave a bad taste in his mouth.
He was
no
crying.
offense to Kevin Stefanski, he's going to want to come back. He doesn't want to go out like this in Pittsburgh.
He was crying.
And it was. I really enjoyed this matchup. I don't know what it was about the colors of the teams. The Browns orange was popping harder. The Steelers black at home at night in a playoff game is the blackest black that's ever been black. It's so dark. It's so awesome. I'm gonna miss Big Ben playing for these Steelers if this is actually it for him.
It can't be.
But you know what's gonna happen. They're gonna figure out a way. They're gonna get another great quarterback instantly.
Yeah,
and be right
I
back.
still think they're going to get Sam Darnold, and he's going to be the new Big Ben.
Could be.
He's kind of fit for it.
Big Ben,
big guy, throws some picks.
I bet you Big Ben
has a funny face.
He's played through mono several times.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nothing. All right.
I got 2 stats.
Yeah, give them
Okay.
to us, Jake.
1, scoregami,
Really?
Okay.
48-37.
Unreal.
2, last 5 weeks of the season, Jets 2 wins, Steelers 1.
Whoa, that's
Worst
brutal.
11-0
Tough.
team of all time. I think the city of Pittsburgh, you don't owe me an apology. I'm not going to make you apologize. You've been through enough tonight. But just so you know, I was right.
I mean,
That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah. I mean, they just fell off. They fell off. They're kind of reminiscent of last year's Patriots team, starting really undefeated and then being like, okay, well now they're playing a little bit tougher teams and it starts to fall off.
I did miss the slime in this game. You can't just give me you can't give me regular football after giving me a slime game. Can you imagine how electric that end zone would have been on the very first play of the game when they recovered that, like an unexpected fumble recovery for a touchdown?
Yeah.
With the slime cannons hitting? I don't know if I can go back.
No, we can go back. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. All right, let's go back in time. Let's start with the Bills Colts. The Bills, speaking of teams that have not won in a very long time, 1995 was the last time the Bills won a playoff game. Same goes for you, Buffalo. I mean, I'm sure you were just enjoying that. That is really the peak. The Bills won their first playoff game in 25 years, and they got to sit and watch 5 NFL playoff games after already advancing.
Money in the bank at that point.
Fuck,
yeah.
man, that's the best weekend of your life, Buffalo. It was great to see Bills Mafia in the stadium.
Do you see that one guy dressed up as a polar bear?
Polar
He
bear.
was
We
the
had a
best.
couple guys with Pinto Ron got some shine. Pinto Ron has a TV that's no bigger than 18 inches.
It was the R. Kelly TV.
It was great though because my initial thought was like we got to get Pinto Ron a bigger TV, and then I realized
No.
Pinto Ron is I went and I started reading some old articles about Pinto Ron, and they asked him in one of them like, "What's the weirdest thing you have in your Pinto?" And he's like, "Oh, I got a jar of milk that's 25 years old."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, someone gave it to me and it just stayed there." And like, didn't it smell bad? He's like, "Well, it smelled pretty bad for the first 20 years."
And then it turns into cheese.
And then it's just 20 years. You just got to get through the first 20 years of your milk smelling terrible in your Pinto, and then you're good to go. But it was awesome.
That's also like the 10th least weird thing about Pinto Ron.
Yeah.
He's an American character, and I'm glad to see him happy again. Like, this is a guy that gets bukkakied with condiments before every single game just for the fuck of it. Just to get people going, just so that people can have a good time. He sacrificed so much for that city, and now he gets to be entertained by this team. It's like good for Pinto Ron.
Yes, it was also. I think we're out of practice with Bills Mafia because of COVID, and there haven't been fans. That video that went viral of the kid the little baby going through the table, and everyone's like, "This is child abuse."
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. The kid fucking had a great time. There was a mattress underneath.
Yeah, it's not like the dad was making his kid eat beans. It was just
Right.
a natural
not
birthday
eat
celebration.
beans,
Yeah,
'cause you can't get it open.
I've got a take about Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, kicks ass.
He was awesome.
He was great.
He did have his mash. He had two mash the buttons plays.
Those are the best.
The touchdown play where he ran into the whole line and then and was like, "Oh shit, I'm going to throw this."
Mm-hmm.
And then the fumble that thank God was recovered, but that was a big time mash the buttons.
Yeah, just at the end of every play, he's like, "I'm going to do whatever I can at this split second." And that's. I hope they don't totally ever coach that out of Josh Allen because
Right.
that's the magic of that's what makes him like the most exciting quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yes.
It's like even when he does something bad, it can be something good sometimes too. But my take about Josh Allen is, you ready for this?
Yeah.
So you know how he's improved his accuracy so much, which everybody thought was impossible. Because like Mike Leach says, once you're 16, 17, you're not going to get more accurate. I actually think that his feet are better than his arm.
Yeah.
We all talk about his hose. You have to always refer to Josh Allen's arm as his hose, by the way.
Cannon.
He's got a hose out there. His feet are the best that I've seen in the NFL this year. He's always on balance.
Yep.
He's never off balance. He's like a mountain goat with his
And
balance and footwork, and it's turned him into the most exciting player. Like, if you're always on balance and stepping into your throws and putting your feet in the right place, that is actually sometimes better than having a hose attached to your shoulder.
Yeah, and he's got a hose to boot. It's
Hose in
so
different
much
area
fun.
codes.
And I actually don't think I think if you asked him, like it wasn't a perfect offensive game for the Bills. It felt like they left some drives out there where they were not as sharp, but he made the big plays when they had to. They were he was 5 for 6 on passes over 20 yards with including a touchdown. So he was accurate when he needed to be. And it was, there was the big story coming out of this was obviously Frank Reich's decision at the end of the first half to go for a touchdown. I loved it. I thought that was the right call. Everyone obviously played the results after because the Bills go down and score a touchdown, but they need the play almost worked. Phil Rivers missed him by just like a absolute maybe 4 inches. 2, the Colts needed to have happen against them 2 insane sideline catches, and then jumping off sides when you can't do that. But that was also it just I like the aggressiveness. I thought it was the right call. I don't think you can beat Josh Allen in that Bills offense by getting field goals. It was a real step on your throat moment. They're up 10-7. If they go into the half up 17-7, they feel like they have a ton of control. It didn't go their way, but I don't play the results in the fact that hey, that was a stupid move after the fact.
I thought it was the exact right call.
Right.
You got to go for it there. And maybe it's been just like I've been watching too much Ted Lasso recently, so I have a harder time criticizing coaches because now I think they're all sweethearts. That shows poison in my brain against hating coaches. But Frank Reich was correct in his decision. I just think
he's also an aggressive coach.
Yes, and
he's always an aggressive coach.
He explained it poorly, I think, after the game because he started tossing around the word analytics.
Right.
And you start to lose people when you say analytics too much. You just have to go back to saying the chart says that I should have gone for it there. If you blame everything,
you don't even have to say that. You just have to say you can't beat the Bills with field goals.
That's also a good.
That's
point.
all you have to say.
But if you blame it on a chart, then it's the chart's fault. It's not yours. A chart is a tangible thing. You just got to go get a new chart The chart's never wrong.
But if you just say you can't beat that team with field goals, no one will ever disagree.
Yeah,
because it just sounds right.
Jim Irsay should do a press conference and be like, the Colts and the chart have mutually agreed to part ways. We'll be looking for a new chart this offseason.
It was the Colts were in that game though. They fucking played tough. I don't know what's going to happen with Phil Rivers. I have a couple quotes for you after the game. He was very emotional. It broke my heart. Also, just brutal watching him try to throw a Hail Mary and 5 yards short.
That's
how do
why
you not bring in
you have Jacoby Brissett for that exact reason.
How? That was so sad. After the game, Phil Rivers in ultimate, like pure Phil Rivers form, talking about the Colts, he said, "It's a really neat team." And then he said, "It was a heck of a fun season."
Yeah. Dagnabbit.
Is that Phil Rivers, 20-year NFL pro talking about losing in the NFL playoffs, or Philip Rivers, 12-year-old playing in Little League and they got bounced in the first round and he's like, "Hey guys, it was a heck of a fun season. Let's all head to the pizza place. Pie's on me."
Yeah, I want to see.
I don't know the difference.
I want to see what he said behind closed doors in the locker room. If he was like more emotional, more angry than that, but that's a perfect Philip Rivers quote. Philip Rivers gets angry.
No, not in that. No, he gets angry at the refs. But I'm saying like after the game, I think it's just at this point of his career, he's like just kind of crying, kind of teary-eyed, and everyone feels bad for him. I feel bad for him.
Well, if you really hate losing that much and you're Philip Rivers and you can't stand to lose in the playoffs, you probably would have retired a long time ago.
Right.
He's kind of used to this at this point.
It's sad.
I still think the Colts are a solid team, and when I say solid, that's code for saying that they've built their team in the complete opposite way that I would do if I was like a general manager with Madden franchise. Because I think you and I would be like, okay, we need a quarterback.
We do the Raiders.
We need someone that can sack the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We need some fast guys at wide. We need to stock up on like 5 great wide receivers and maybe a big name corner. And the Colts, they've put all their resources in like the least sexy positions, and they've developed a solid team.
No, they're a solid team.
They're good.
They're the only team, I think, in the playoffs that was top 10 in offense and defense.
Yeah,
I saw that.
They're a nice, well-built team. They might be this offseason's one quarterback away from becoming a real team.
Carson Wentz, Frank Reich and Carson Wentz, bring them back together. Either way, I'm very excited for the Bills. That was awesome.
I'm
Tough
shocked
matchup coming up.
I'm shocked that we haven't seen any Buffalo Bills too early Super Bowl tattoos.
Yeah, that feels
gotta be out there.
I feel like that just happens every year, and it's not even.
It's not a story.
Yeah, it's not a story anymore. But Bills fans, they get another home playoff game. Awesome. It was a little too sunny, a little too nice in Buffalo on Saturday. I kind of wanted some. Maybe can we get a forecast? Can we get a way too early forecast for Saturday night?
Let's get some flurries going.
Let's get some flurries. Let's get either flurries or like 5 degrees.
Because if it's snow, they're going to steamroll the Ravens, right?
Yes. I also think this was a perfect game for the Bills where they got
PM snow showers.
Okay, there we go. Oh my God, that's beautiful. It was a perfect game for the Bills, and I don't think if you ask the Bills, they didn't play a perfect game. Like they didn't play their best. They survived. They found a way to get a win. They found a way to get a playoff win. Kind of a monkey off your back. Like feels good going into the next game. Like that was there. They didn't look like they had been looking in the last half of the season where they were just trucking teams. So now you get the added bonus of like, hey, this is a lot harder. Let's button down here for the next round.
You know what? Maybe they had some playoff jitters.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a playoff jitters.
No,
but you came out and you won.
They played well, but they definitely didn't play a perfect game, and that's a good thing because they won without a perfect game, and they still have a perfect game in them.
Can somebody please explain to me what happened on the second to last play, the Zach Pascal play, where he was on the ground, caught the ball, he stood up off the ground. Then he fumbled after he stood up.
Can I just say though, if the play was wrong, if the play is wrong, which it was, they called it wrong, but it ends up not determining who wins, I don't care anymore. Like I stopped caring. Like I saw Coward had a tweet being like, lot to talk about, but the main thing on my mind is what the hell like was happening at the end of that Bills Colts game. Imagine if the Colts had won. Well, they didn't, so I've moved on.
I'm only concerned because I don't know what happened. I don't know why that ruling was put into place.
I think they just fucked it up. They just fucked it up.
It's just a fuck up?
It was just a straight up fuck up. But again, it didn't matter. So as soon as a ruling doesn't matter to the end result, I just don't care anymore. I just wash it away from my memory. I'm not going to be like, oh man, could you imagine if? Well, no, it didn't. It didn't end up mattering.
Yeah.
So we're good. We're Gucci.
You brought up the jumping off sides part, and that guy was probably the most offsides player
Eddie
in
Jackson
the NFL this year.
went
This
up
was
for
he
it.
was more offsides than AJ. He was like 9 yards into the Bills' backfield. There's something about a quarterback that knows how to do the hard count correctly. That is something that only a few quarterbacks really take. Like Aaron Rodgers cheating on it. Like, if I were a quarterback coach, I would have them take voice lessons. I would have them. Can you imagine like a ventriloquist quarterback throwing his voice into like the backfield,
or like maybe a guard,
Yeah.
being able to mimic the quarterback's voice.
Yeah.
So you have two of them going at the same time.
it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
There's definitely like one of those. That's the difference between a very good quarterback and a great quarterback.
Yeah.
If you can get those guys to jump off sides and get free plays out of it, and Josh Allen with a free play is a very dangerous thing because he's just going to hose that ball downfield.
Yeah. So that was fun game, great start to the weekend.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Rams Seahawks. So where do you want to start, Seahawks or Rams? Because
Let's start with the Seahawks because I love Pete Carroll, but I think he might not be a great coach.
okay,
I think he's had some of the best talent on defense. He's had Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, and Russell Wilson covers up a lot of stuff. If he goes out there and balls out all the time,
Ooh.
Pete Carroll, he attracts talent. Maybe there's just something about Pete Carroll that he will always have talent around him. But as far as in-game, the most adjusting he does is just switches his gum from the left side over to the right side during a game.
The Seahawks, they were reading the quotes afterwards. It was kind of shocking. They're like, yeah, we knew how they were going to defend us. We just didn't have an answer. Like, what? That's the whole – and it happened for the entire second half of the season. Like, the first half of the season, the Seahawks were essentially able to just bomb it deep, and most teams were playing with one safety deep. And then teams just started being like, hey, guess what? We're not going to let you bomb it. We're not going to let DK Metcalf go one-on-one, try to beat us other ways, and they never adjusted, and that fully came to fruition in this game against the Rams where they fucked them up. See, Pete Carroll said afterwards, I have no place in my brain for this outcome. I think he's going to memory hole it, so that one just doesn't exist. If you ask him about it 2 days from now, he's going to be like, I don't know what you're talking
Complete opposite of Sean McVay.
Yeah, he is memory holing this loss. I have no place in my brain for this outcome.
He's
You said
redacting
something, though, there, PFT, that I got to ask you about, because this is now a narrative coming out of this game. I saw it online. I saw it with Seahawks beat writers. I saw it with Seahawks bloggers. There seems to be a little bit of a rumbling that Russell Wilson is more to blame than people are letting on.
Ooh.
Now,
How quickly they turn.
yeah, now I want it on the record right now. If the Seahawks want to trade Russell Wilson to the Bears, I will do it in a second. I will do anything. I will trade anything, everything. So I think Russell Wilson's a fantastic quarterback. But if you're a Seahawks fan, your frustrations are at least coming out a little bit. So he's played now 16 playoff games, and in those 16 playoff games, he's 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 236 yards average. That's not like lighting the world on fire.
No.
And it's weird to see it because you think Russell Wilson, clutch, unbelievable, ridiculous plays, ridiculous comebacks, and then you see those numbers and you're like, wait, so he's not one of the best postseason performers? That's weird. Because I had that moment where I was like, that's kind of bizarre. If you had showed me Russell Wilson's playoff stats, I'd be like, oh, he gets better in January. But he kind of doesn't. He's kind of the same guy. And this loss was on him as much as anyone else. Like, they were not. He took a lot of sacks.
That interception wasn't on him, though.
That interception was not good. I mean, that wasn't a good play.
It wasn't on. If it's a quick screen like that, you can't blame the quarterback if they don't get to their places.
Well, he also was forcing the ball to DK Metcalf, who, listen, we love DK. He's our guy. But that was when you have a little bit of a tantrum in the first quarter, in like everyone sees it in an empty stadium, it does change the narrative coming out of the game. Like you've narrative yourself.
No, I love that with DK. Like DK, people don't give him enough credit for looking like he's a bass player in like a rap metal band. He flips out, man. He has like a mosh pit with himself on the sidelines. Yeah. And he's smashing helmets like
But it was
guitars.
early.
It looked sick.
It was early.
It looked sick. I'm going to stand with DK on that. DK, you looked awesome.
But you admit, though, like,
you did that
then changes Russell Wilson. Like, that interception was him trying to force the ball to DK. Like, he was trying to get the ball to DK for the rest of the game. And I don't know. I mean, the offense was a mess for a million different reasons, and that's not even – we should talk about the Rams and how good they were defensively. But I just noticed that, and again, I would take Russell Wilson over I don't know, every quarterback except like 4.
Yeah, he's definitely top 5 quarterback.
But it is
he's
crazy to see those numbers and be like, wait, that's weird. I always thought he was this incredible postseason guy. And then you think about it and you're like, what's the postseason moment that you think about when you think about Russell Wilson?
a million different passes to Doug Baldwin.
Right, but like, that game against the Packers where the Packers just fell apart, and Mike McCarthy fell apart in that onside kick. But like, what are the? I don't know. I'm asking the question again. I don't want this spun as like anti-Russell Wilson because I'm definitely not. But when you think about like Brady and Breeze and all these other guys, like they have these insane playoff games. I don't know if Russell Wilson has had that type of resume.
I think it's more on Pete Carroll than it is on Russell Wilson because it's Russell Wilson playing against the best defenses, and during the regular season, he's always a very good quarterback. And yeah, he feasts on some shitty teams. I feel like the Seahawks play against the Falcons like 3 times every year, and he always puts up 450 yards on them during the regular season. But in the playoffs, when he's playing against really good defenses, you can't put that all on him. I think that Pete Carroll has to take some of the blame for it.
You can't put it all on him, but if you are in the conversation as amongst the best quarterbacks in the NFL, like this is the difference between every quarterback and then the upper elite guys who can they can kind of put it all on them.
Yeah.
And they can find ways in the playoffs to do things, and they do elevate their game. I think that's where the disconnect is. I think Russell Wilson is amongst that group, but when you like actually lay it out, it's like, okay, well, where can you point to it? Like, oh shit, he was unstoppable in this playoff run.
Well, he's also played behind some really shitty offensive lines over the last like 12 years, or not 12 years. When was it? 2012 that he was drafted. Over the last 8 years, he's played behind some like really bad. Like Tom Cable used to basically take a shit and then put a helmet on it and say, "This is your left tackle."
This is now becoming me just hating on Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that way, but I also believe that he does run into a lot of sacks. I think he doesn't help his offensive line as much as like some other guys do.
Yeah.
I do think there are many times in the game where it's like, what is he doing? He's not stepping up into a clean pocket. He's doing things that are kind of leaving his own offensive lineman out to dry.
Russell Wilson, I think, is a very, very good quarterback, and he's played. I think he's been above average for the most part in the postseason. But again, you run into better defenses there, and he ran into a really, really good defense against the Rams. The Rams, they're officially my don't look now team. Don't look now.
Yeah,
but the
Hank
Rams
and
are
I
back.
have a future on him.
Rams are back. If Aaron Donald is hurt, that's obviously different.
Also, Russell Wilson, that one throw he made where he was going left and he threw that deep ball. I mean, that's why he's Russell Wilson. That's why he's incredible.
Yeah.
But it's just something to put in your brain. Like, we all put him in the Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady category. I don't think he is.
Probably not.
Right, but that's where we do it.
Well, because Aaron Rodgers is like, he's the best quarterback physically, and he's been the best quarterback physically for the last like 10 years or so. Brady has so many Super Bowls, and then Mahomes is just like a freak.
Right.
But Russell Wilson is still like a very good, above average postseason quarterback, and he's a great regular season quarterback. So I'm not ready to write him off just yet in terms of a postseason guy.
No, I'm not either.
I do like the fact that we're talking about it.
Right. This is the first time I
love your passion.
I never even thought about it until I saw enough of it online, and not just like random people. It was people who cover the team, people who, blog the team, saying these things. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me at least look at this.
I love that.
And I looked at his numbers and I was like, all right, yeah, I can actually, I would still take him over, again, pretty much any quarterback except like 4 guys. But I am looking at the numbers and be like, yeah, you're right. It's not like he's lighting the world on fire.
I love the fact that this is in the marketplace of ideas now. I disagree fervently, but I respect to hell your right to say it.
Yeah, I just some of the losses haven't been great, and he's kind of. I mean, he did not play well. He did not play well.
No, he didn't. It was very disappointing.
He was 0 for 8 on third down.
This might kind of fall into what you're saying. After this game was over, there was a moment where I was like, wait, the Seahawks can't be out of the playoffs.
Right.
It's Russell Wilson.
That's why
Russell Wilson's going to keep playing.
That's literally Pete Carroll's quote.
I still think that like next week, the Seahawks are going to be in the playoffs still. They'll be playing somebody else.
I have no place in my brain for this outcome.
So
let's talk about the Rams.
The Rams. It doesn't make sense that Goff didn't start to me.
It doesn't make sense that they didn't start a third quarterback. They didn't have a third quarterback
Bortles was absent.
Right. What do you mean it doesn't make sense that he didn't start?
I mean, he was good. Jared Goff, he played pretty good for having a broken thumb.
I think he did. He had a very gutsy performance.
Yeah.
But he wasn't good.
I feel like he
had no control of the ball.
I feel like his thumb might be better. Maybe he was gripping the ball too hard when he had a fully healthy thumb.
I give him all the credit in the world for being out there with fucking surgery 11 days before, and he had a gutsy performance. I think he did just enough. I mean, he wasn't good. There was a moment where he had that one play where he like scrambled and threw like a little ball to his right that ended up being like a 50-yard pass, but before that he had like 40 yards on like 2 quarters.
He played a lot better than I thought a quarterback with a broken thumb was going to play, and probably better than Wolford would have played if he had played the entire game. But the only thing I'm going to take away from the Rams of this performance is those jerseys are fucking disgusting. The Rams white, whatever, they're like 7 different tones. They've got 9 different fonts on them. They look like a ransom note slapped across a uniform that's like written if you're taking Jeff Fisher hostage. They're ugly. I hope I never see him again. I don't like them. I don't like seeing – they make Aaron Donald look fat, and Aaron Donald has abs, which might be part of the problem.
Oh, by the way, Aaron Donald, like,
you can't pull fat.
Dodges a million knives and survives, then gets sat on by Russell Wilson and dies.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
It was like he was like Houdini. He got one sucker. He goes down the Niagara Falls in a fucking chains and survives, and then one sucker punch to the gut and he's out.
Is Russell Wilson getting fat?
I don't know. That was crazy.
He might be getting fat.
Did Russell Wilson have knives in his ass?
It was weird because it instantaneously, like right when he rolled off and grabbed his ribs.
Please credit me, by the way.
It was
I
like,
had
holy
that first,
shit,
ribs.
my rib is just exploded.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's Russell Wilson that just kind of like rolled on you a little bit.
Yeah, it was weird. That was a weird play. So my biggest takeaway from this game is Sean McVay. Now, obviously, he doesn't have any Super Bowls, but he went to one. But when people put him in the conversation as like the next Belichick or mini Belichick, this is why. Because when I look at the Rams and the fact they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago with one of the best offenses in the league, and then look at what they've done this year, and they basically completely changed their team to a defensive team, running team, that's why he's a mini Belichick, in that it doesn't matter. Like, he's not going to try to beat you just his way. Mm-hmm. He's going to beat you whichever way is best. And I was reading an article about his defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley, who's going to probably get a head coaching job, maybe not this year, but at least next year. So essentially he wasn't even on Sean McVay's radar. He had an interview. Sean McVay basically changed over his entire staff, which again, that's kind of a Belichick move to be like, I'm changing my entire
all got
staff.
hired away to be head coaches.
Wade Phillips, he left, but he was basically like, I got to change my whole staff. Sat down with him. Brandon Staley is a Vic Fangio disciple, was with Vic Fangio forever. And Sean McVay basically said, Vic Fangio's the one guy who can stop my offense, Kyle Shanahan's offense, these offenses that have been taking over the league. Brought him on, and he's been incredible. Like, he's been an incredible defensive coordinator. What the Rams were able to do, they mauled the Seahawks. Like, they were awesome.
They can get after Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's going to be 25 degrees, and I know they're a Southern California, Los Angeles team. I think that this Rams defense is built to play in cold weather. I think they can get after Aaron Rodgers and knock him around. It's going to be very cold. It's going to be a good match. I'm very much looking for the narrative of the Sean McVay against the McVay disciple and Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
That's going to be a spicy one.
I just love that. I mean, Sean McVay, like, that is what makes a great coach a great coach. Like, the guys who can think outside the box and be like, okay, who's the person who I have the most trouble with defensively? Okay, let me go get him. Let me go hire him, whether he's resume ready or not. Like, I'm going to go
get
him.
that resume ready.
But, like, that's what Sean McVay did. Brandon Staley's, 38 years old. I don't know. I don't think he was a defensive coordinator in Denver, because I think Vic Fangio was still calling the plays. But like that is the smartest guy in the room kind of feel. Like, hey, instead of trying to beat the people that are really smart across the field, why don't I get one of them and use their powers on my side defensively? And he's changed the entire MO of the Rams team. They're a running team. They play good defense. It's awesome to watch. That's why he's a mini Belichick.
It's double genius, because you take a guy that can beat you off the market, and so then down in the future, he's not going to be out there kicking your ass. Mm-hmm. So you're eliminating that threat from your future self.
And everyone's talking about offensive football. Everyone's, everything's offense. To have the foresight be like, hey, I'm going to go get this guy who's an up-and-coming defensive guy. Mm-hmm. and basically mold my team in that fashion. I don't know. He deserves a lot of credit. And then the stat out there, I think it's now 37-0 when Sean McVay is leading at halftime. They win the game. So
Yep.
I mean that's crazy. That's just good coaching. And then I this game next week's gonna be fun. We'll obviously preview it on Friday. I just hope that the Rams can get like a little bit healthier. I hope Aaron Donald's okay. Jared Goff's thumb, like that. I hope he can grip a football in cold weather. Otherwise, we might see John Wolford again.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was more questions for the Seahawks and the Rams being like, we keep losing guys and we keep winning games.
Yeah, don't look now. The Rams are back.
Yeah, they are. Hank, we got that future. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but who knows? Looked bleak when they lost to the Jets. All right, let's do Saturday night, your team. Before we do that,
Yeah.
I'm sure while you were watching, you had your Whoop on, right?
I did have my
Was it
Whoop
going
on.
crazy?
It was. My heart rate was fluctuating all over the place, mostly from just hearing Stephen Che talk. That'll get your blood pressure up in a hurry. But I'm wearing my Whoop right now. We're all wearing our Whoop. We're monitoring ourselves. Billy's training for a big fight. His strain numbers are off the charts. I'm getting back on the Peloton. I'm going to be doing more Buns of Anarchy stuff because I put on like 25 pounds after I lost 25 pounds. So my body has no idea what the hell is going on. I need to get back into shape. 2020 is finally behind us, and we're looking ahead to 2021. And whether you do or don't have any New Year's resolutions, Whoop can help you set goals and stay on track. It's a 24/7 health and fitness tracker that quantifies and tracks personalized data like sleep, recovery, strain, and more. I love monitoring my my HRV. I'm not still 100% sure of what HRV is,
Sounds important.
but I know that when I wake up in the morning and it's green, I'm ready to have an awesome day. And when it's red, it's about to be bogus. That's all I know. I love my Whoop. I love using it. It actually does make you work out more. When you're tracking what you do, you want to beat your score from the previous day. And every day when you get up, Whoop gives you a recovery score based on your sleep, your respiratory rate, your resting heart rate, and your heart rate variability. The score lets you know how to approach your day and whether you should push yourself or whether you should take it easy. It can also track down if you've contracted COVID. It can give you like an early warning alert. There's like a feature on there that'll do that. I know there's some people that have been using that, and it's worked out well for them. There's a built-in sleep coach, so it tells you how much sleep you should be getting based on your expected activity level for the following day. Spoiler alert, it's usually going to be more sleep, especially if you're watching football. Actually, you know what? My steps, I probably don't get any steps watching football, but I feel like I'm getting a full weekend's worth of exercise. I basically do an ultra marathon, a triathlon, if I'm watching 3 football games, one right after the other. And Whoop will tell you exactly what your strain is and how to adapt your lifestyle based on what you're doing in your day-to-day life and your sleep. Whoop is a must-have heading into 2021, and right now they're giving 15% off when you use promo code TAKE at checkout. Go to Whoop, WHOOP.com, enter promo code TAKE at checkout, and get 15% off.
Okay, Saturday night. Bucs, Washington football team, the Taylor Heineke game.
We cover the spread. Good teams win, great teams cover. We were a great team on Saturday night. We didn't embarrass ourselves. Washington football, the season of destiny has sadly come to an end. Alex Smith probably not going to be back. I would guess if you injure like what's left of your calf muscle and it knocks you out for about a month, probably shouldn't be playing football that much anymore. I mean,
if Alex Smith had played this game, started this game,
he'd be dead.
They wouldn't have hung tough. Like that was Taylor Heineke was very good for a guy who's a backup, has
an XFL backup.
Way too many tattoos for a quarterback.
Yep.
And kind of what we're talking with Chris Long, doesn't really know he's supposed to suck.
I think he's going to be a great backup quarterback.
Yeah,
he can win you like a game and a half in a year, and he comes in, you're like, fuck it, let's get weird with it. He's like the bad boyfriend that comes in, scoops you up in a Corvette. He's like, not a Corvette, probably a Camaro that he bought used. And then you go around, you drive around the block a few times, blasting Papa Roach, and come back feeling great about yourself. But you don't want to do that every day. Taylor Heineke was fun to watch.
Right.
The Bucs were clearly the better team. I mean, the winner of this game was the Bucs offensive line. The Bucs offensive line handled the Washington defense, and
sucks for Chase Young when you say all week you want Tom Brady in your grass.
He was saying, Tom Brady, I'm coming. And he did not come. He just flopped out. But, I mean, the defense is still great. You know what's great about this Washington football team, Big Cat, is going into the offseason, I'm gonna be able to get mad at all the power rankings that disrespect us. Because we have something to build on. We're a major, like, we get a quarterback and we could be one of the best teams in the NFL. So when I see us, if you have us listed, if you have the Washington football team listed below 16 in your power rankings, I'm going to write some fucking letters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to address those to you. I'm going to tell you that you don't know what you're talking about because we made the playoffs.
So the one downside of Super Wildcard Weekend is the booths get stretched. I don't really need to hear Tony Dungy anymore.
No.
He's not good.
And
he was going. So I tweeted like Taylor Heineke, franchise quarterback, and people were getting mad at me. I was very tongue-in-cheek. I agree with you. I think he would be a very good backup and, could come in and win a game. Like, that's kind of the guy he feels like. Tony Dungy had him in Canton. I don't know if that was – I mean, Hank, did you watch the game with sound? It might have been Tony Dungy's hate for Tom Brady, but it was crazy how – effusive he was with his praise of Taylor Heineke.
It's definitely having a lot to do with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
and
it was
Tony
crazy.
Dungy, the best thing Tony Dungy does, he's only good for like taking someone who's troubled, someone who gets into like severe off the field issues,
right,
and rehabilitating them by saying Tony Dungy now approves of this guy. He's turned his life around. Once you get that stamp, then you're hireable.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you're a player or a coach. And if Tony's like, all is well, I've cleansed him of his sins, he's back, he should not be on television.
Well, and here's my problem is that Tony Dungy, you're in the booth. You're supposed to be assessing the game from like a professional standpoint, right? So you shouldn't be going like Taylor Heineke's a 10-year starter in this league. That's what Twitter's for. And that's why when we all freak out about Taylor Heineke on Twitter, the like, well, actually, or he's not really a good quarterback, people, shut the fuck up, dude. That's what makes football fun. When you have a guy who plays in a game, he's not even supposed to be there, and he's playing out of his mind, and you all feel like you're in on this big moment, that's cool. That's why we get swept up with Taylor Heineke. No one woke up on Sunday morning being like, Taylor Heineke needs $100 million in 5 years. No. But in the moment, when he's playing out of his mind, and he's playing way better than we all expected, and he's running and fucking lunging for end zones, we're fucking goddamn right we're going to say Taylor Heineke's a franchise quarterback. Not you, Tony Dungy. Let us, the idiots, the meatballs, do it.
We're prisoners of the moment. Tony Dungy needs to be the warden.
Correct.
You need to be walking around making sure we're in our cells, wrapping your nightstick on the bars, and making sure that we don't get out of line with that shit. Tony Dungy, not a great announcer. Stick to being the guy that always picks wrong on Sunday Night Football before the game starts. That's what you're really good at.
And Tom Brady's incredible.
He's good. Yes, he's very good.
He broke the record for oldest player to throw a touchdown pass. Like, he sliced and diced the Washington football team. I don't know how he can. I don't know how many. Like, are we going to be doing this in 3 years? Or is Tom Brady going to be 46?
Tom versus
time. Playing in the playoffs.
He's
like, what is going on?
Clocks. He's crushing them.
I don't get it. And I mean, I'm very excited for next week. Saints Bucs round 3. Hard to beat a team 3 times. Ali Marpet wasn't playing for round 2, which is significant for that Bucs offensive line, which has played a lot better. And
has he ever lost 3 times to the Dolphins?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I just don't know. I mean, I know Mike Evans is incredible. I felt like even like Antonio Brown was very good. Chris Godwin dropped a few balls, but like. And also, I forgot, we got to see Lenny back.
Lenny Fournette. There's no better like feather in your cap than you can give to that offensive line than saying you made Lenny Fournette look like he was alive. He looked like an athlete because he had some holes to hit, and fortunately he wasn't pulling the Trent Richardson thing where you get the screen caps, because Lenny Fournette was well on his way to being the next like Trent Richardson of look at the size of this hole that he didn't hit.
He was good, though.
He was not bad. He was pretty good. I was saying on the live stream, like, please keep feeding Lenny Fournette.
Oh, no, you said I tuned in at the beginning and you were like, which I agreed with your point. You're like, Stephen Shea, do you think that Leonard Fournette's good at football?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, he could be good. I'm like, no, PFT's right here. And then he actually ended up playing well.
It was the offensive line. So the offensive line blocked really well for him, and they blocked really well for Tom Brady. So they won the game for the Bucs. So I have to take my hat off to the Bucs. Good job. You beat 7-9 football. We're probably like the 3rd best 7-9 team of all time.
Hung tough,
so
though.
We hung tough. We didn't. If I could do my Colin Cowherd analogy about this game, I would say that like the Washington football team We didn't embarrass ourselves. We took a very out of our league attractive woman on a date. We went to a nice restaurant. We didn't spill food on ourselves. We didn't have our credit card declined at the end of the evening. And then we drove her home, went in for a kiss, and she was like, just maybe on the cheek. And we're like, fine, that's it. I gave it my best shot.
Taylor Heineke is like meeting a woman at a wedding, and you guys hook up. You meet Friday night for the rehearsal dinner. You have a great time. You hook up. It feels like it's going to be great. You have some unbelievable sex. You say you're going to keep in touch. Then maybe she comes and flies to your city like a month later, and you're like, oh, we're not compatible at all. That was the Taylor Heineke weekend.
Got a lot of weird habits
was
that you
great.
don't necessarily want to cohabitate with.
Just keep it in the weekend.
Yeah.
Keep it in that one weekend. Keep it in that one time when you thought that you had found your soulmate.
We covered the spread. I said that we needed a defensive touchdown to win. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
We kept it respectable. We were within 2 points in the third quarter.
Couldn't turn off the game.
Couldn't turn the game off. Good job watching
Not that
the
we
football
would, but
team.
you couldn't.
We were just here. We weren't here for a long time. We were here for a good time.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins swept the Pats in 2000, so Brady's rookie year.
Okay. But that not Brady
3 times?
playing.
Right.
Right.
In the
On the
playoffs?
team. Oh, 3 times. No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Regular
Yeah, I
season.
doubt-
Can't beat Tom Brady three times.
I would doubt that he's lost. What about didn't they lose to the Jets one year in the playoffs?
Stand by.
I wonder if I'd be shocked if Tom Brady's lost 3 times to a team in one single year.
The Bart Scott can't wait year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be shocking.
I don't see back-to-back losses.
But I mean, they lost. When I say they lost, that's a capital L when they
I
lost to
see
the Saints.
2000 for that too.
Yeah.
For 2 losses, but not 3.
All right. Next up, Ravens Titans. Lamar Jackson. By the way, Washington football team. This is a loss that you come away from being like the future's bright.
Yep.
Which is good. It feels good. We'll get to the Bears. The opposite of the Bears loss. It feels like everything's on the up and
I'm
up.
optimistic.
Right. Hey, you're building towards something. It's a building towards something loss versus a tear it all down. This team is garbage and I hate everyone. All right. Ravens, Titans. Lamar gets his playoff win. They come back down 10 early. They do the grass stomp. He has the terrible pick and then ends up, the play where he ran for a touchdown where he's just, I don't know how he's twice as fast as everyone on the field.
Yeah. It was his signature play of the postseason. Like, he hasn't had one of those moments yet. And he was like the gas pedal that he stepped on at the 35-yard line was absolutely insane. If you're chasing somebody that's that much faster than you, it's got to be so demoralizing. Kenny Vaccaro probably never ran full speed for the rest of the game, just knowing like this guy can get away from me.
Right.
At the drop. He was running like there was a toilet in the end zone.
Yeah. It was good to see. And, I know Ravens fans are trying to do the gotcha. Unfortunately, I slipped out of that one like 6 weeks ago because I said the Ravens were going to win this game. I bet the Ravens. I think the Ravens are playing really good football. I think they're fucking live in the AFC right now, especially because everyone kind of forgot about them and they're back to like just running it down people's throats. But so Lamar gets the win. Good for him. He played well. The big story is the Ravens defense was awesome. The Ravens defense was down 10-0 in the first quarter. They gave up 3 points for the rest of the game. They held Derrick Henry to 40 yards, lowest total since week 6 last year. That Ravens defense is like, they got everyone kind of healthy on the defensive line. They're playing really good football, and that's why they are a scary, scary team.
Yeah, Patrick Queen is really good, it turns out. There was also the element of the Titans preparing for the Ravens by using DeShone Kizer as their scout team, Lamar Jackson, which is, come on. I don't know if Vrabel has had a chance to look at DeShone Kizer run, but Lamar Jackson, he is not. It would probably be more similar to have like fat Vince Young right now.
Yeah.
Be the scout team Lamar Jackson than DeShone Kizer.
I'm trying to think, is there any, like Tyreek Hill maybe? But Tyreek Hill has a different style. Like Lamar's elusiveness. Tyreek Hill's probably faster than Lamar.
It's RG3. That's why the Ravens signed him, so that nobody can use him as a scout team Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, he's so elusive. And I guess the real story of this game, it's Lamar Jackson getting his first playoff win,
and coming back from a 10-point deficit.
Monkey off your back, like feels good, because if he had lost this game, it would have been like, what's going on here? 2, Mike Vrabel, friend of the program. We love him. He's a fantastic coach. The punt was baffling. The punt was absolutely baffling. You have Derrick Henry. It's 4th and 2 on the Ravens 40-yard line in the fourth quarter, and you punted the ball, and then the Ravens then went 6 minutes and 41 seconds in the other direction for a field goal. You basically surrendered the game there. Like, you can't punt the ball to a Ravens team that is built to run clock.
You're down 7 points. You're in plus territory. It's 4th down. What you said it was 4th and 2?
4th and 2.
4th and 2.
On the Ravens 40.
4th and 2 on the Ravens 40. So worst case scenario, they get the ball back on the 40-yard line, and you're still down, as opposed to like kicking it. Where do they down the ball? At like the 10? It was not a great
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it was a great punt.
Mike Vrabel cut off his balls instead of his penis. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to make sure you're going after the right thing. It was honestly the most cowardly punt that I've seen.
It was him and Mike Tomlin this weekend. Bad weekend for Mike's and their punting.
Bad, sad punt weekend.
That was it was I think it actually was downed. It was it's fair catch at the 15. So it was
they got a 25-yard punt.
Insane. You can't do that. You just can't do that. And then the Ravens go all the way back down the field. Justin Tucker, like if you're the Ravens, the offense wasn't great. Like, they still don't have great wide receivers. They made enough plays. Hollywood Brown played well, but
he's fast again. Hollywood Brown got slow for like 3 or 4 weeks, and now he's quick.
He's also, and I listen, we're pussies. Like, we're just pussies. We're podcasters. Hollywood Brown does like to go out of bounds.
Yeah, well, so does Ted Ginn.
He likes to go out of bounds.
Yeah, it can work.
That's not a slight. I wouldn't even be on the field.
Deshaun Jackson loves to go out of bounds too.
Yeah,
if you're that small,
you
got it. Sometimes
just get out of bounds.
Listen, the sideline's your best friend.
Yeah, get out of bounds. Like,
but we are pussies.
Big time pussies.
Huge pussies. That's
huge
why I don't even play in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. I'm afraid of getting injured.
Yeah, I always stay out of bounds.
My next injury is death.
Yeah.
If I get injured significantly again, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen?
I know not to move too fast.
You saw what happened to Doug Segura, or what's his name?
Tom Segura.
Tom Segura.
Yeah, right.
His body exploded.
Right.
At a certain point, your body will just eat itself.
Yes, my next injury is death.
But Justin Tucker.
Missed his kick.
He missed a kick, and when Justin Tucker misses a kick, he gets this meth face. He's like, God fucked up. Mm-hmm. He like looks at the sky and he's like, God, you really screwed the pooch on that one, buddy. I don't miss that kick. But Justin Tucker's kicks they didn't have that pop. That Justin Tucker pop that they normally.
It was weird.
Was it
seeing
windy
him miss
there?
it.
I don't know.
It was weird seeing him miss it, but I guess that's probably good to have a miss that doesn't end up being a loss and it's in the first round. But either way, the Ravens are a tough fucking team. This is going to be a great game against the Bills. That feels like a game where if either of those teams doesn't come with their A performance, they'll you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's no margin for error in that type of game because both teams are very, very good.
Something to keep your eye on. Teddy Bruschi brought this up in the simulcast room that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar started handing the ball off with his right hand, even when he was turning to the wrong side.
Right.
And Teddy Bruschi's like, something's wrong with his hand. Something's wrong with his left. It's his non-throwing hand.
Put it in your tickler file.
It's his, well, I guess since he runs with the ball a lot, it does make a difference if you have a broken hand on the left side, as opposed to if you're just like a pocket passer and it won't really matter that much.
Right. If he's running to the left side of the field and he can't, and it's now on his outside hand.
Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the left hand.
And the stomp on the logo was awesome. We need more bad blood. We need more bad blood. Like, it's good that these two teams hate each other. It's good for football. I loved it. They all just instantly went and stomped on the logo. It's fucking awesome. That's what's great about sports.
And the game was still very much going on at that point. There were 3 timeouts left and like a minute and a half, a minute 50, something like that left in the fourth quarter. But here's a weird idea, Big Cat. If you don't want opponents to step on your logo, don't put it at midfield on a football field.
Put it on your. That's like
you can't do it at Washington. You can't do it in Raljon. It's the shield.
That's my favorite. Whenever there's a new locker room, it's like don't step on the logo, and they make the logo enormous in the middle of the locker room.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we have this new 10,000 square foot locker room, but you can't use 9,000 square feet of it.
Can you imagine though if a team did something like that, the Meadowlands, and just stomped on the NFL shield? How quickly would Roger Goodell have you killed?
Yeah, it'd be disrespectful. And shout out to Patrick Ricard, who's 311 pounds.
He's bigger now. He gets bigger every time.
Awesome.
He's 320 pounds. He's 6'2", 6'3". He's a dude. That guy, listen.
And it matters for them.
Yeah.
They run the ball. They fucking pound you. They play punch you in the mouth football. And that's why the Ravens, like last year, they were scoring all the points. It felt like they were passing a lot. Now it feels like the Ravens have found that identity of like, we're going to punch you in the mouth and we're going to play really good defense.
Here's my take. I think Patrick Ricard is the best athlete on that Ravens offense.
Probably right.
When you look at the size, I know Billy respects size.
Des Bryant.
Yeah, Des Bryant, you're right.
He fell down.
He's what, 300,
Yeah.
290?
Yeah. He's a tight end.
Patrick Ricard is a dude. The Tennessee Titans lead the league in boys, respect to the boys, but they didn't have
all the respect to the boys.
Didn't have enough dudes.
And Will Compton's, I think he was wearing like a starter jacket. He looked fucking awesome going into the game. Shout out Will Compton. All right, last game, and then we're gonna get to Herbie. Saints Bears. All right, Bears Saints. Fuck the Bears, man. They suck. But Trubisky won the MVP.
They play a soul-sucking version of football.
It's exhausting.
I respect you for being able. You've watched, 4 hours a week, 4 times 16. What's 4 times 16, Jake?
64.
64. You've watched 64 hours.
Dude.
That's like 3 days of soul-sucking Bears football this year.
It's it actually is exhausting. Like at halftime, I went and sat in my corner at my desk and just sat. Like I didn't look at my phone. I just sat because I was like, I need a break from watching this fucking team try to play football. I don't even want to everyone saw it. They suck. There was only one shitty performance, truly shitty performance this weekend. One shitty game. It was the Bears. Like, how many times do I have to watch them get absolutely pantsed on national television and looking like absolute clowns and jumping off sides and fucking Anthony Miller get the fuck off of my team, punching people after everyone knew that was coming from CD Deuce or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, CD
Deuce. Who's the best shit talker in the world, apparently.
CD Deuce is the best pest. He's an MVP, most valuable pest. He got 2 Bears kicked out of games for throwing punches this year. He got Michael Thomas relegated to the sidelines for 9 days. He is a great shit talker. He's like meta world peace. He's meta world war.
How about Javon Wims? Javon Wims was the first CD Deuce person. He punched CD Deuce, gets kicked out of the game, gets suspended for 2 games. The Bears bring him back. Like Matt Nagy, you talk about culture, you talk about building a winning culture and all this fucking mumbo jumbo, and you get so emotional all the time. You brought back a guy who did that, who's not even a very good player, and then he drops a sure thing, absolute dime. Like, you are the Chicago Bears. Your offense sucks. You get very few chances to have a trick play not only work, but Mitch Trubisky throw an absolute fucking dime from 50 yards, and it goes through the receiver's hands, who you should have cut in October because he cost you then. And then the same thing happens to another guy this week because guess what? You didn't cut the first guy, and now Anthony Miller's like, hey, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to get cut. Cut him today. I know the season's over, but either way, the Bears are just soul-sucking. Like, I also love the fact that they went deep, they tried that play, and then they kind of never went deep again. Like, they're like,
that was their shot. The game does change though. If they catch that, if that's a touchdown. Totally.
And
right
the Cole
Kmet
penalty, which was terrible.
That
Alex
was a
Kemp,
bad call.
Fuck you, Alex Kemp. You
call.
Fucking piece of shit. I fucking hate you. You're the worst. That's the ref crew that I always hate. Jake, I'm actually mad at you, by the way.
I told you.
Yeah, he did.
You did. Jake,
I tweeted at you.
Jake,
Yeah, he tweeted.
tweeting at me is not telling me next time Alex Kemp has a fucking crew and he's in a game
And
that
I
is
told you in
important.
person, I think.
Yeah, Jake, here's what we're going to do, though.
It has to be on the podcast?
No, you have to put a piece of paper in front of me stating what game Alex Kemp is reffing, and I have to sign it and date it.
Okay. I assume
That's the only way this is going to work.
Get it notarized.
All right?
You have to treat Big
there's
Cat
no
like
way he gets
You
to
don't know.
the Super
I
Bowl,
can't.
so
There's
he's
too much
probably done.
shit going on.
like it's that
Dad, I'm a
movie
father.
Memento. So Big Cat needs to have like a post-it
Okay.
note. that
Yes.
You have to write it down on a post-it note every morning and put
You
it
have
on
to have
your
a
computer.
picture of me holding it up, being like, when the first quarter started, and they were like, and now we go to the crew. Alex Kemp. I was like, fuck. This fucking guy just can't get rid of him. He
But I knew
fucking
the
hates
first
me.
time I saw it, I told you. In
Yeah.
one form or another.
All right, so the Bears suck.
Big
I
Cat,
hate him. I hate Matt Nagy.
You got to have a post-it that says, "This is Alex Kemp. He is against you. Do not trust his lies."
Right, exactly. So I hate him. I hate Matt Nagy. Mitch needs to be set free. Mitch, we've been through it a million times.
Are you talking about the MVP?
The MVP. Let's get to that in a second. But Mitch, we've been through it. It's not going to work. I don't know. I hope he has a great career. He's a nice guy. It makes no sense that you have a quarterback Like, remember we had this conversation a month ago where it's like, hey, we're going to keep Matt Nagy. Do you think I can keep Mitch? This is exactly why they can't both coexist, because Matt Nagy doesn't trust Mitch Trubisky. So he puts handcuffs on the guy and then's like, hey, go out and try to win a playoff game with handcuffs on. We'll do a trick play and then we'll never throw deep again. The whole thing's a joke. The defense tried their hardest. They're offsides. They're bad coached. Just a fucking dumpster fire of an organization. This is the opposite of the Washington football team. They're losing this playoff game, and I feel even worse. I feel worse because there feels like there's no end in sight. It's just going to be the same product over and over, because that's what it's always been. It's always been this product. It's always been this exact iteration of the Bears, where they just suck the life out of you when they have the ball on the offensive. Somehow, the entire NFL has changed everything they do to play offensive football except the Chicago Bears. They're the only franchise that hasn't figured out that you can score points in 2020. It's like illegal to them. Cody Parkey scored more points than the Bears today.
He did.
He scored more points than the Bears today. Like they scored 9 points, but they really scored 3 points because the touchdown at the end was kind of just whatever. And Jimmy Graham makes a great catch. And it's just maddening. It's terrible. It's gross. I hate it. And I can't wait for next season because I'll probably sell myself into them winning the NFC North.
I had forgotten about that touchdown at the end until you just remind me right now. Fuck Matt Nagy. Was he allowed to kick an extra point?
So the
even
rule,
if he wanted
changed,
to?
No, they changed the rule.
He couldn't send out.
No.
God damn
They
it.
changed the rule. So
I wish they had never scored that touchdown
If
then.
an extra point doesn't change, they might actually have to change this rule when gambling becomes legalized everywhere. But if an extra point doesn't change the outcome of a game,
it does change the outcome.
This is
I
the
would
rule,
have won my bet.
I know. I think they might have to change this rule, but that's why.
That sucked, man. That the end of that game sucked just because they got me so close, and it was like I was rooting for Mitch on that last drive, just out of the possibility that maybe we could see an MVP type performance out of him and get a touchdown that would cover the spread. And at least your defense is good. Your defense is still good.
Are they?
Yeah, your defense is fine.
Yeah,
the
I
Saints,
know. They don't tackle.
also
They
the
have third
Saints-
downs all day.
Saints weren't great.
No, the Saints are who we thought they are. They like, as crazy as it is, and everything I just said about the Bears, this was a completely winnable game going into the second half. Like, the Bears were in a game where they could have won it if they had any type of just base level competency. They don't, so they couldn't. But like the Saints, Drew Brees, you can't stretch the field with him. Their defense is good, but then sometimes it's not good. I don't know. We'll see. Next week's going to be very interesting against the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm just glad that this was the Nickelodeon game.
Yeah, let's talk about
the fact that the Bears were such a miserable team to watch offensively, all of their games should be on the Nickelodeon channel because it makes it so much more visually entertaining to watch the Bears when you get some neon colors mixed in there. I love the slime. It felt like I was watching football on acid when they had the first down marker and it was like glowing green with slime. The first down line that they had go across the field, it was thicker. It was like twice as thick as it normally is. It was visually, I felt amazing watching it, even though it was a soul-sucking brand of football. And I understand from your perspective that like you don't want your clown show of a football team to be featured on the Clown Network. But for me, it was like this makes this football game fun.
The first half, it was torture because I had Billy who legitimately was like, "Oh, we got to slime people." Like Billy, he's 10 years old. I was sitting next to a 10-year-old watching this game. Billy, you can talk.
Why wouldn't we watch the game on Nickelodeon?
Because it was a playoff game
it's
with my
the one
team
game
in it.
That
I know.
on Nickelodeon.
It was
Why wouldn't we
objectively
watch
better. It was an objectively
join me
better
in here. I
broadcast.
wasn't here the whole game.
It's hard to not feel like a complete joke when your team is a joke and then you're on a joke fucking network.
We missed
with
so
slime.
much cool stuff.
Okay, well, you saw it. That was the thing I couldn't understand.
wanted to
we
hear
had
it, too.
6 televisions. We had the Nickelodeon channel on the entire time. We had the sound on the CBS. As soon as I don't know why my alarm's going off. As soon as the game was out of reach, because pretty much when the Saints scored 14 points, that was officially out of reach. We just switched to trying to get Mitch Trubisky his MVP award, and that became fun because
the Nickelodeon valuable player.
He got the MVP. He won it running away.
The most prestigious NFL award. Only one winner. He's the first. He's the youngest MVP winner. Russell Wilson's never won it. You know who else hasn't won a Big Cat? Patrick Mahomes. Deshaun Watson.
Listen, I know that this is recency bias, but tired, Super Bowl Lombardi trophies, Wired MVPs.
MVP. And I'm so glad that it worked out that way. I think we were going to try to get Jameis Winston the MVP, but you couldn't vote for him because he wasn't playing. But Mitch was right there at the top. Mitch ended up going home with 49%. Like, it was a landslide.
A landslide.
It was a fucking dominant victory by Mitch. And they tried to steal our MVP, too. They tried to give it to Drew Brees on their show.
Right.
They saw the numbers, and all of a sudden, the numbers stopped. And then next thing you knew, there were going to be hundreds of thousands of votes that just appeared in the middle of the day that went for Drew Brees. Like, it's his birthday. He's old. He sucks now. He loves kids. He's got kids that watch Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to steal. We stopped the steal. They were trying to give it to Drew.
Yep.
Mitch Trubisky. I don't know if he has. Do you think he has any like bonuses in his contract tied
He should.
to MVP
it's
awards?
now officially on Pro Football Reference, 2021 MVP.
Yeah.
We're selling a shirt. It was the perfect encapsulation of pretty much life, where pain, suffering, watching the Bears, and just miserable time. What do you do with it? You don't talk it through. You don't try to change. You just bury it with humor.
Yeah,
and make the whole goddamn thing a joke.
But you know what? He got the blimp.
Oh, it was great. I had a great time. It was the
think-
best fourth quarter of a losing playoff game I've ever had.
Do you think that they went into the locker room and gave him the trophy? I
hope so.
I don't think they did.
I want the trophy. I want it.
I think they just like announced it on the game, and then they were like, you know what, we can't.
For people who don't have Twitter, they literally, so Nickelodeon had vote for our MVP, Nickelodeon Valuable Player, and we just started tweeting it. We got Mitch for MVP trending on Twitter. He won the vote with 50%. It's a fake award. What's the guy's name? Lex Blumpkin?
Lex
had
Lumpkin.
to give it to him?
Lex Lumpkin.
Lex Blumpkin had to give it to him?
Yeah, Lex Blumpkin gave it to Mitch.
And the whole thing was a farce, but we spent the entire fourth quarter trying to rig an election, and it was fun.
We ended up playing ourselves
Why?
Because
Billy's mad because no one got
mad.
slimed.
No, Billy's mad because we violated the sanctity of the Nickelodeon football game.
No, this is what happened. Basically, their plan to real live slime someone during the broadcast was to slime the MVP winner.
Yeah.
And since it was on the losing team, no one wanted to come out to receive the trophy.
They should have
so
slimed
no one
Mitch.
got slimed.
They should
I
have.
know.
They should have.
But again, you were so mad, and it was like, does no one care
I
about
wanted
the
to see
slime?
someone get slimed.
This is where when I say I had to watch next to a 10-year-old, this is what I'm
No,
talking
but
about.
we watched
You were
Nickelodeon
legitimately upset that we didn't get slime. You're like, where was the slime?
You don't get it.
I get it.
It would have been very funny though if they had slimed Mitch after that game and handed him the trophy.
Sean Payton did get slimed, not live on
So you
air,
feel
but
good?
2 hours
So
later.
you got your
No, it was
slime
like
on.
it was a fake sliming.
Yeah?
It was
Okay.
The only thing, there were two things I didn't like about the broadcast. One was the SpongeBob net. I didn't like the SpongeBob net.
God damn it. I was just envisioning
it was too
missing
much.
a huge kick with the
Yeah,
SpongeBob net.
it
It
was-
would have been so bad.
And have the SpongeBob net laugh at you
Yeah.
because you missed. What would that sound like, Billy? But yeah, I didn't like that. It reminded me of the popsicle. It just made me want to eat a SpongeBob popsicle.
True.
And then the other part was young Sheldon. This fucking young Sheldon kid that kept
explaining
popping
them.
up and nerd-splaining to me. He's like Darren Ravel. That's exactly what Darren Ravel looked like when he was a kid, except I don't know what this young Sheldon's kid's deal is, but he's fucking obsessed with buttons.
Yeah.
He's got more buttons on his shirt than anybody in the history of mankind. And he's always popping up saying the most annoying shit. Well, I'm trying to sit here and engineer a rigged election for an MVP.
Yeah, that was the moment that I wanted to actually I wanted to just end it all. I wanted to end the whole room. I wanted to light the whole room on fire and have us all die. When I was watching the Bears in the playoffs get a pick, have the pick be overturned, and Nate Burleson was like, see the tip of the ball? It's like a dog's nose coming out of there. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Kill me now.
So that ball hit the ground, kind of like if you'd imagine a dog's nose sniffing a carpet.
Yeah,
And it's
that
like,
was,
yep,
and I was
that's-
like, if
Nate,
I had a
that's
grenade,
exactly what I thought.
would have pulled the pin and handed it to Frank the Tank, and we all would have blown up.
I did see some people complaining on
dramatic.
Twitter, and it was very, very funny to see adults that were like replying to tweets, getting mad at the Nickelodeon broadcast. They're like, this is the worst broadcast in sports history. It's like, dude, you're willingly watching
You're
a
opting in.
children's network.
You're opting in.
And you're getting mad about it. There's another channel where if you want to hear
Yeah.
the most adult people on the planet, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, talk about a football in very serious tones and drab colors, you're more than welcome to hit that last button on your
Right.
remote control. As for me, I want to see some fucking neon slime
Yeah.
on the field.
Any
The
other
broadcasters did a great job explaining. They did a great job.
Any other game I would have been in, it's just very hard to stomach the Nickelodeon channel when your team's getting pantsed on live television for the 10th time this year.
I understand that, but on behalf of the rest of America, thank you for making the Bears broadcast entertaining, Nickelodeon.
All right, let's get to Herbie. Kirk Herbstreit, college football playoffs, championship tonight. Ohio State, Alabama, going to be great. And a huge announcement. So, Kirk Herbstreit, Coors Light guy. We are now officially Coors Light guys. This show is brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light is our favorite beer. We've made the switch. We're Coors Light guys. Listen, we talked about this with Kirk Herbstreit, but I'm going to say it again. There's something about Coors Light. It's a psychological thing. When the mountains turn blue, there's no better feeling in the world. I'm a cold beer guy. I need my beer as cold as possible. Coors Light is the coldest beer.
It is.
It absolutely
and
is.
Coors Seltzer is the coldest tasting seltzer.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Also true. So, Coors Light, we're going to be doing a ton of stuff with Coors Light. We really appreciate it. So, if you guys can help us, Coors Light has our back. We're going to start doing some fun content with them. If you want to tweet me or PFT or the Pardon My Take account, maybe a couple Blue Mountains when you're watching, the college football championship, I might retweet it.
Dude,
whatever.
When the mountains are blue,
Yeah.
I will retweet that shit too, because there's something about holding a can of beer that has been like there's a chemical change that happened to the can that tells you that this beer is scientifically crisp. I'm like, fuck yes, I'm all in.
And that's why we love Coors Light, because Coors Light is made to chill. Those chill moments, they're few and far between these days. Everyone's go, go, go. Everyone's the rat race. Everyone's working hard, trying to do their job, whether you're doing it during the week or maybe, you're doing it on the weekend. You're watching football. Can't lose parlay happens. Need a second to refresh yourself. Say, hey, we lost again. Okay, that stinks. Let's have a Coors Light. Let's chill out. That's what it is. It's made to chill. Chill yourself out with Coors Light. Mountains on the bottles and cans even turn blue when your beer is cold. Like we said, that's how chill it is. So Coors Light is the one we choose when we need to unwind. So when you want to hit the reset button, reach for that beer that's made to chill. Coldest beer out there. Swear to God. Get Coors Light in the new look delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Also, a special shout out to Coors Light, because when we were getting the deal set up in late December and everything was working out, I don't know what day. It was maybe like a Thursday night. It was probably like 10:30. I see Billy walking out, and he's got 3 cases of Coors Light under his arm. I was like, Billy, what are you doing? He's like, well, we need Coors Light now for content. I was like, all right, Billy. It was the greatest, he thought he was the smartest person in the world. It was such a fucking funny moment. God damn it.
He did pull a very, very smart move, shockingly smart for Billy, to the point that it scared me. When we were getting the lottery machine set back up in here, Billy had to bring a bunch of cases of Coors Light into the room, which meant going out to the kitchen and probably making 6 or 7 trips to come back with all the beer. And I saw him filming 2 of the guys that work here, bringing the beer in for him and putting it down, because Billy told them, I need to get some behind-the-scenes footage of us setting up the ping pong machine. And he was pretending to film them on the camera just so that they would do his work for him.
That's Billy chilling, because Coors Light's made to chill.
Chilly football.
That's the way to go,
I'm gonna
Billy.
be honest, I freaking love Coors Light.
Yeah, dude, I do too. I love Coors Light. I love the Blue Mountains.
Buffalo wings
fucking love the
tastes
Blue Mountains.
better with Coors Light. It's the best buffalo wing beer there
the
is.
coldest beer in the world. All right.
The best beer is a cold beer,
Yep.
and that's always Coors Light.
There we go. You said the
job,
best
Bill.
beer is a cold beer, and the coldest beer is Coors Light.
Perfect.
All right. Let's get to our friend Kirk Herbstreit, and we're going to talk about college football championship game. Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest, long overdue. It is the legend, Kirk Herbstreit. You've seen him every Saturday morning, every Saturday night in the fall for, God knows, 2 decades plus. He is part of the fabric of America. This is a good intro. I'm just going to keep going with it. Part of the fabric of America. He will be calling the national title game on Monday night, Alabama versus Ohio State. And on top of all of that, you just actually heard us announce that we are now officially sponsored by Coors Light. So, and Kirk, I know that you love a Coors Light. So pretty much you're the perfect guest. Great to have you on. Great to have you here. Let's talk some ball.
Well, I just want to welcome you guys. First of all, it's great to be with you guys. I've been following you guys for a long time, and I appreciate you having me on to join you. I know that talking with my guy, Sean Farrell at Coors Light, this is a huge deal for Coors Light to have you guys now part of the team. And I've been with Coors Light for a number of years. Unbelievable, not just a great beer, but a great organization and a great group to be partnered up with. So congrats on that, and I'm glad we're now teammates.
We're very excited because little known fact, my favorite thing in the entire world is when the mountains do turn blue. There's
amazing.
nothing better in the entire world than when you get an actually I think it's something psychological about seeing
Totally
the cold
agree.
as well as
Yes.
feeling the cold that makes it the best beer in the world. So
That's a call. I
yeah.
agree with you.
all right, let's talk a little ball. Let's talk a little. I actually want to talk a little game day too. I think PFT does as well. Let's start with game day. Let's start with game day. You've been doing the show forever. It's an unbelievable show. It's I think it actually might be the show that the most the highest approval of any show out there. Everyone loves game day. No one doesn't like game day. What is your favorite college campus to go to? And what's like the craziest one-off, like maybe one that you've been to that you haven't been back to that you'd like to go back to?
25 years is for me. I don't know where you guys were 25 years ago, probably elementary school, but I've been doing this for a long time. When we first started doing this, there'd be you've seen your show grow. There may be a couple hundred people around our set. Corso didn't even put on a mascot head. He would just find somebody around the set had a crazy hat. He'd tell somebody to go grab it. And then things changed in the Michael Vick era. Frank Beamer was the first coach to kind of get what game day was. And he was the first coach to recognize it and really embrace it and challenge the Hokie Nation. When game day comes to Virginia Tech and Blacksburg, we're going to bring as many fans as we can. And we had like 20,000 fans show up one time to a college game day. And that was like late 90s, maybe around 2000. That just changed everything from that point on, because he was the first coach to recognize what it could do. It's basically an infomercial. If you include Sports Center and everything we do on Friday and Saturday, it's like a 48-hour infomercial for the school.
Yeah.
So he got it. It changed everything. Where I love to go, I mean, I'm from the Big Ten. I grew up, in Ohio. Obviously, if you eliminate Columbus, where's home, I love going to places like Wisconsin. I love going to Penn State in the Big Ten because they're radical. They love college football there. They're passionate. I just love going to places that are passionate about the sport. The SEC, I mean, it's pretty much interchangeable. You go to anywhere down there, Tuscaloosa, Athens, Baton Rouge, they're all kind of Eugene, Oregon would shock you guys. I mean, maybe now they have more of a reputation. When I first went out to Eugene, Oregon, I couldn't believe it was dark out, 6 a.m, and there'd be 10 or 15,000 people as far as you could see. So those are the obvious places. And some of the fun ones, you guys, are like JMU,
There you go.
Fargo, North Dakota, places like that when they told me we were going there initially, I was like, what are we doing? And then you go there and the entire town shows up. We're in downtown Fargo. I mean, so those are the ones that typically stand out when we go to places like that.
Yeah, Harrisonburg is the Paris, France of Western Virginia. That's what they often say about
Yes.
it. It's a great place to visit.
Yeah.
Is there something in
Yeah.
the contract with College Game Day where you have to have Kenny Chesney on a certain amount of times per year? Is it like
If we
tell
come
you,
Luke
he
Bryan
hasn't been on
now,
it for-
yeah.
It's like we don't have a guest picker.
Yeah.
Might as well call Kenny up. He's got nothing to do.
Kenny, Eric Church, Luke Bryan, you're right.
Yeah.
He's been on a ton. No, I just think, we try. I don't even know who comes up with the ideas. I know we have an entire department. They try to get creative and trying to come up with different people. It's challenging, man. I mean, we're even offering them a free plane ride to come fly over. And this is back in the days when when the show was traveling. Now we just zoom people in. Bill Murray's been on a bunch. Will Ferrell's been on a bunch. It seems that we definitely have our fair share of country music stars, for sure.
Is there one campus that you've been on where either you or somebody else on College Game Day has had either a bad take or an aggressive take about that school, and you get there and you're actually like a little bit fearful because the fans are like screaming at you a little bit louder than normal, like they might start throwing stuff at you? Have you ever had to put up the the chicken wire that they use in Blues Brothers?
Yeah. Yeah. We have chicken wire. It's like an invisible net that we have around the entire thing because people used to throw things mainly at Corso, but I would get friendly fire as well. The only time I've experienced that is Michigan fans are early in my career. I'm pretty much the way I'm talking to you guys right now is kind of how I talk on the air. And Michigan fans, I've treated Michigan like any other team, but just being an Ohio State guy, it was like back in I want to say '97. We were up in Ann Arbor. Ohio State was undefeated. Michigan was undefeated. That was the year Michigan went on to win the national title with Woodson. And they threw like snow ice balls, hit me, in the chest, hit me in the back of the head. It was before we had the net up. I think that was what led to that. And somebody threw a full beer can one time and drilled, went right between Corso and I's head and blew up. It came with some force. It blew up on the set. When it landed. And I think after that, our bosses said, like you said, there's some strong opinions. People in college football, I think more so than the NFL.
Yeah.
They take stuff. You know what I mean? They take it really personally. And so, you feel that from time to time when we go out on the road. Again, we haven't been on the road in over a year now.
That's what makes college football, though. I love to like debate with people when we get to playoff time on Twitter. And people will sometimes be like, oh, man, like, why are you spending your time, like, an entire afternoon on a Wednesday debating with random people? Like, that's what I like. I like doing it because everyone is super passionate. There are debates, unfortunately, that we can't always decide on the field, but that's what makes college football college football.
Totally agree. It's subjective, right? I mean, even the playoff, we have a committee. No one really understands what's going on behind the curtain. Anything that you guys say on your show about college football, anything we say on our show, anybody who has an opinion at all, because it's subjective at the end of the day, it gets people really fired up because you're right. Like whether it's your NFL teams, if they finish 9-7 or whatever they finish, there's a tiebreaker, whether you go to the first, second, third, fourth, all the way down to the fifth tiebreaker, there's some way of establishing who's going to move on. And in college football, there's not. Like Texas A&M fans right now hate me. They hate anybody.
They hate me too. They hate me too.
They hate you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody who thought A&M shouldn't be in the top four, you're dead to them. And so next time we go down there, you'll feel that wrath. So you're right. That's what because I don't know. I don't feel that in the NFL as passionate as we all are in this country about football in the NFL, NBA, MLB. I mean, I guess it's the closest thing to European soccer, college football, just because of the way fans, they get sideways with you in a hurry if you disagree with their team or their player.
It also, I think, goes to the history of the game and the history of programs, and that's where you get like the crazy college football is when the expectations don't meet, reality. Whereas NFL, it's kind of, you can be good for a few years, you can be bad for a few years. It's not like, well, we need to restore ourselves to this tradition. Like, whereas college football, you have fan bases, Michigan, Nebraska, Texas, USC, who are saying like, we need to get back to what we were. It's like, well, maybe, I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't know if you can.
You're totally right. And I don't know how you guys feel about this. I know you guys follow football and you're into it. How do you feel right now about college football, the way it's trending? That like the postseason, I think, is a frustration for a lot of fans because you got Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State every year. And then it's like, who's the fourth team going to be? I don't know how healthy that is for the sport. I don't know if there's ever been more of an emphasis on the high school player that's going to college on just where am I going to go for 3 years and bounce to the NFL? It's just all about the NFL. And I just feel that these high school going into college, these kids are missing out on an opportunity to really make a difference in the college game. Because if you have a great college career, that can set you up. Even if you don't become a brilliant NFL player, make millions of dollars, you can still have a great life. And I think these kids right now, they've never been more focused on the NFL. And it's like they don't even really plant their roots at their college stop. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope right now for the game of college football.
There's definitely a problem, I think, at least from my perspective, with like a pipeline. So if you're an elite kid that's coming up, by the time you're in 8th grade and you're one of the best athletes, there's a pipeline that's already in place of, okay, here's the summer camps you need to go to, here are the guys you need to be working with, and we're going to feed you to like one of 4 schools. And then those 4 schools are going to continue to be great. And, it'll be great football on the field, but you will lose a little bit of that national aspect of the sport. So in my opinion, I feel like they do need to expand the playoffs, even though there's nothing I love more than having a UCF claim a national championship because they didn't get into the playoffs. That's why I was rooting for like Cincinnati this year. It's like the more teams that can just like claim that they won a national title, I think the better for the sport and for the conversation around it. But they need to expand it at least to like 8 teams minimum within the next couple years, I think.
I also think they need to do to specifically what you're saying, Kirk. Like I think the thing I hate the most about college sports is when guys go pro and they go into the draft and they're told that they're going to be some, first round draft pick, lottery draft pick. They end up being a day 2, second round, or not drafted. And then they're kind of stuck because someone got in their ear and told them that they were going to be making millions of dollars next year. So I think the easiest fix right away, and we don't have to get into paying the players, there should be a rule that, 2 weeks after the draft, you can go back to college. You can say, I'm going back to college. This didn't work out the way I thought it was going to be. I went in the 7th round. I thought I was going to be a 3rd rounder. I hired an agent. I made a mistake. Let me go back and play some more college ball. I really do think that they should give that mulligan.
I love that. I love that. I think that I think college basketball, you guys have to tell me if that's still a case. I mean, if they don't contact an agent and they go into the NBA draft and it doesn't work out, can you still come back? It used to be that way.
Yeah, there's a new rule that you can basically test the waters and do tryouts and stuff, and then and so they made it a little bit, but it's the same thing in college basketball where they need to make it so that a guy, you see it every single year, where a guy thinks he's a lottery pick and he ends up being a 2nd rounder, and then everything kind of changes from there, where he was told someone got in his ear for selfish reasons, and they're just a lot. I know they're not kids because they're 21 years old, but like. When I was 21, I was a fucking idiot. So I can say they're just kids.
Well, I think you're definitely onto it. I believe that the Power 5. There's a good chance if you listen to a lot of the talk, the Knights Commission, there's a chance they break off away from the NCAA, create their own governing body. And I think if they do that what you're suggesting might be one of the things that they might consider or have to look at, because we're at a spot right now. These kids, they listen to their agents, or their parents listen to these agents. They're told they're a 1st or 2nd rounder. They either go 2nd day or they end up not getting drafted. I think it was like 40% of the kids that declared early last year ended up not even being drafted. And you'd love to have an opportunity to be able to put them back on a college roster. I just think it's unfortunate that these kids, and I'm not trying to act like, listen to me, I'm just trying to help you. It's like you're going 80 miles an hour towards a bridge that's out, and I'm just trying to help you help yourself. And the thing is, if you go to play college football and you have a great career and you're kind of a humble dude that's gracious to people around you, Wisconsin, for example, when you're done, you're going to be taken care of in so many ways. People are going to want to help you in business. They're going to want to help you find a successful path in your life. And I just think all these kids now, they all think they're going to become Patrick Mahomes. They don't hope. They know they're going to become a guy that's making hundreds of millions of dollars. And I feel like we need to help them understand that's cool, man. Shoot for those goals. That's great. But when it doesn't happen, you need to have something to fall back on. And that's where I think the college experience is so important for these guys.
I agree. And I think that actually something that could help with that is if we went ahead and kind of advanced some of these like name and likeness type rules where while a kid's at school, you're encouraged to be part of the community because there are all sorts of sponsorships out there. Like if you're a backup or a rotational guy down in Starkville or something, and you're not going to make the NFL, you're not going to make millions of dollars, you're still bringing in a lot of money for the school. If you want to ingratiate yourself to that community, start doing local ads for a car dealership or whatever it might be, and they'll pay you some money while you're on campus. That's going to give you a further tie into the area even after you graduate, and you're also able to make a little bit more money while you're there. So I feel like that's a win-win situation for everybody involved.
Yeah, I think name, image, and likeness is going to be an interesting aspect of college sports and how they handle it, because I agree. It would be great. I think maybe you just up the scholarship and the cost of attendance. Name, image, and likeness. Let's say you're a 5-star recruit, and Alabama's recruiting, and Ohio State's recruiting, and USC's recruiting you. How often would name, image, and likeness come up? Like, hey, they're saying they're going to get you, $500,000 in name, image, and likeness. We can assure you $1 million in name, image. I don't know if that would come into play, but the thought of that, it almost becomes like the wild, wild west. So I don't know. Maybe there's an assurance of that we somehow get these guys a little bit more money. I have 2 kids in Clemson right now who are preferred walk-ons, and I can assure you that these college kids are not going around without money. They have plenty of money. I think sometimes there's a perception that they're being exploited or that they don't have money. Now, a guy like Trevor Lawrence, he's one of the few guys, or Justin Fields, some of these guys that have really been out in the forefront or really the faces of the sport. That's really different. And what I think you're talking about is those guys could score. I mean, those guys could definitely take advantage, whether it's jersey sales or just going down to, like you say, a local mall and signing autographs. There's no doubt about that. Or even based on how many followers you have on social media.
Yeah.
Hey, tweet this many times. And, so there's opportunities out there, but I would hate for the boosters to get involved and it become the wild, wild west, because I think that would be dangerous for the sport.
As opposed to what it is right now. But
even worse.
Yeah, let me get some breaking news, though, from you. If the name, image, and likeness, they figure this all out and we actually do get the greatest video game ever created back, NCAA college football, will you do it? Will you call it? Will you be the voice of it like you were when it was still around in 2014?
Man, my kids play it, the 14 game. They download the rosters. My youngest son in 8th grade, he's into it. One of the greatest honors I ever had, because I grew up a gamer myself. I started with Bill Walsh College Football, and then it became NCAA. And Joey Galloway and I it's embarrassing how many hours we used to play. And I hated Joey because me and the other guys, a guy named Big D and another guy named Snoop, we would all play. And it was embarrassing. Joey would bring out like Ball State and beat us. And he would not use Florida or like one of his good teams. And we're like, and he's just so cocky on how he would play. But we would play hours. We went between that, NBA Live, NHL Live. Those were like all of our games. And but the college football game, it's so much better for me than the Madden game because of the option part of it and QB run. Yeah. So it would be, that was like I said, one of my great honors when they asked me to go from playing the game to being on the game. I would love to do that and hope to get an opportunity once that game comes back.
Okay. Done.
I want to talk about the national championship, obviously, for a second while you're here. Are you going to be able to be impartial? Are you going to be able to play it straight? Can we trust you as national viewers?
I've been doing this for 100 years. I mean, the only time, that I said this to somebody the other day, 2006. I did Ohio State, Michigan. Ohio State was number 1 in the country. Michigan was number 2. Bo had died the day before.
Mike Hart. Was that Mike Hart? Yeah.
Mike Hart had a big game that game. Ohio State ended up holding on with Troy Smith and Teddy Gann. I called that game with Brent. And I'd like to go back and think I was impartial. That was the only time, if you ever thought, how are you going to be? Because it was the first time I had called Ohio State and Michigan. But I've done so many big Ohio State games. I get accused more of being mean to Ohio State or too tough on Ohio State. I just honestly, dude, right now, here's my board right here. Like when I get done with you guys, before I was with you, all I do is prep. And so when I call the game, I've done so much legwork. All I see are just jersey numbers and XOs. And I just break the game down. And if people like it, they think I'm biased, then they think I'm biased because there always will be those people. And if they think I hate Ohio State, then there's going to be people that think I hate Ohio State. But the reality is, between the three of us, I just break the game down and call what I see.
No, I actually do. I agree with you. From someone who watches a lot of college football, I know that you're impartial. The only time you're partial or biased that pisses me off is sometimes you get a little too on the side of the refs, and that makes me mad. So maybe just point out every now and then, like, if you were a fan of this team, I could see how you'd be pissed right now.
So I get on the refs?
No, you defend the refs. I remember this is all really just the Rose Bowl, Wisconsin, Oregon last year. I went back through my tweets and I was motherfucking you because I don't know what you were talking about, but I was mad that you were like defending the refs for whatever happened.
That sounds like a dude who bet on a game.
Well, yeah. Duh.
One day, can I come hang in your spots? You guys watch. It's so much fun, man.
Yes.
That looks like you got a ball.
Yes.
One time I would love to come. Obviously, I can't do it for college football, but maybe on an NFL Sunday, maybe I can come in there. I just want to watch all all the shit talking and everything that's going on in the room.
Done. We'll have it be done, but I have to actually ask you for a favor back. If you do come, maybe my favorite person in all of media has to come as well, and that is Chris Fleek, the Bear, who I consider a friend, but he basically is with you all the time, right? Is he just a walking, talking stat machine? Do you just like look at Bear and you're like, hey Bear, what do you think about this? And he just spits out like a computer all this data for you that fills your head with information?
No, he used to be that guy. Then he became an on-air guy, and now he keeps the stats to himself. And thankfully I grew up in the.
Oh, is that a selfish move by him? Are you like, hey, now that you're a Hollywood, the Bear's on air, so now he's keeping all the good stats?
Bear's never been a stat guy with me. He's been more of just an extra set of eyes. Bear's very analytical, man. He knows the game. And that's what I value. I've always valued about him. When I went into the booth to call games, the first thing I requested is, can Bear come with me to the truck and be in my ear, not because of stats, but because he just knows the game. And so he'll give me a thought during a game of something, because you can only talk about so much when you're doing a game. And then Bear will see something that's it's not so much, again, stat oriented. He's so much next level than just looking up stats. And I'm not a stat guy when I do my analysis. So I really value the dude's knowledge of the game and his ability to kind of see the big picture. He's legendary, but he can give you all the stats you want. He can do, especially the betting trends.
Yeah.
He's Rain Man, when it comes to stuff like that. And so, yeah, if I come into the room there to watch games, Bear would definitely come with me with all his betting intel to be able to help you guys out.
We would love that. Absolutely.
He's just such a funny dude, and he knows, like you said, he knows the game. I've also heard through other mutual friends that he can fall asleep anywhere, anytime, like right in your face. He'll just fall asleep. Like you'll just be sitting there, and he'll just fall asleep in your face.
Hey, I should send you some pictures. It's always betting forms, the horse betting forms, and it's just on his belly. And he just puts his head back, and it's just, there's nothing better than seeing the Bear with his horse betting forms on his stomach with his head back, snoring.
Awesome.
It's a price to see. And on a Saturday, by the way, when we're supposed to be back, like you guys, we have a room in the back of our bus. It's got like 5 TVs, and we're watching college football. On the bottom left screen is freaking horse racing, Saratoga or wherever betting. And there's my man in the front left with his betting forms. Some point during the day for a couple hours.
I love it. So he's got to come to the gambling cave, because he is a true gambler's gambler.
And we've got 6 TVs, so we'll put horse racing on one of them. We'll put 2 on. Yeah, we don't care. Whatever it takes to get him there.
Where do you guys do that? Is that New York?
Yeah.
We were going to Philly a bunch because we have the Sportsbook app, and then the COVID regulation. So we've been doing it more in New York. But we're going to be traveling all around. We're going to be opening up the Sportsbook in Illinois and Michigan, hopefully Ohio at some point, Tennessee. So
that's awesome.
We'll figure out a way to get this the gang together.
Hey, by the way, congratulations on that fund you guys have done and created. I put some money in initially when it first got started. Are you up over like 20 million now?
It's about 20 million now. Yeah,
it's crazy.
And I think that it's. I know you guys like to have a lot of fun and bust balls and all that, but I think it's incredible to show that giving spirit and help so many different people out. And I know I talked with Coors Light, and they want to give $100,000 to that fund as well.
That's amazing.
Wow!
So, all right, well, shout out Coors Light.
You guys are making a big difference. So I know a lot of people are appreciative of what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, people need help right now. So
that's why we did the deal with Coors Light, because they're the best.
They are the absolute best.
Saving
Other
rivers
beer companies would never do something like that. Coors Light did. I need to thank you, Kirk, because you are the last bastion of integrity in modern media. With you not ever picking the Saturday night game where they go out of their way to be like, and Kirk will not pick this game because he's calling it. That makes me feel good as an American every week. I'm like, this guy gets it. This guy has integrity. He'll never pick the game, but I do have like a small piece of advice, because I know you do make picks on that game. You just don't tell people. You should go on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
You should sell that last pick on OnlyFans, and everybody would buy it, because that's the one thing that I've wanted like my entire life watching college game day is like, I need to know who he's picking for that late game. You've created such a demand by never saying it.
That's cool.
Dude, you could sell that pick for a lot of money every week.
Well, here's the thing, man. The reason, honestly, I don't make the pick is this morning, for example, I was on the phone with Alabama's defensive coordinator, Pete Golding, and he talks to me, and all these guys I'm very fortunate. They talk to me in a very different way than they talk when they're doing a press conference. And then later today, I'm going to talk to Sark. And then I'm going to go talk, to Nick Saban. And these guys all give me some serious intel.
Coach Saban.
Coach Saban.
Yes.
And then I'll talk to Ryan Day. And then I'll tell you. So by the time I do the game, I've got so much knowledge that I don't want to make it look like with that knowledge, now I'm picking this team.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's no big deal, but I like your idea. I may have to use that.
Well,
I'll have to maybe investigate that.
And with all the knowledge, I would assume still, even knowing everything that's going to, what this team wants to do, what this team wants to do, you probably still half the time it goes differently than what you expected, right?
So true. So true. And I guess that's why I don't know how you guys feel about the NFL. I guess it's even harder to predict, but college football, like Ohio State, Clemson, no matter how much intel you guys had or I had on that game, the equalizer, and I think it's more in college than pro, is when you get a team pissed off, you get an entire team, not two guys, but an entire team that spends 7 months through a global pandemic and feels that they got jobbed the last time they took the field against that team. That's just such an equalizer. You throw out all the XOs, just throw it out. It had everything to do with just a chip on their shoulder and an attitude. And you never know when you're preparing to do a game, is that going to play out? Are they truly that pissed off? And at the end of the game for Ohio State, they were. Now we don't know. It's like they're manufacturing ways to get mad at Alabama. Maybe Coach Saban's daughter got him mad. Who knows? But they got to find another way to get mad. You know what I mean? To try to get ready for Alabama.
So you brought up Sark, which is interesting because I remember a couple years ago when Alabama was in the national championship game and Lane Kiffin had taken a job, and Nick Saban said, "You're not going to stick around for this game. See you. Go focus on what you're going to do." With Sark, it's a similar situation because obviously he's going to Texas. What's the difference there? What has Sark done differently where Nick Saban is like, "Yeah, okay, I trust you. You're still on this team. You're still going to be involved leading up to the championship game"?
Actually, he's had a bunch of coordinators that have left to take other head jobs. Jim McElwain did that a long time ago, went to Colorado State, Jeremy Pruitt, Kirby Smart, and they've all finished the deal. The only guy that didn't was Lane. And if you go back, think about it. They played Washington. They didn't look really good. They didn't look like they were locked in. He was saying some things publicly about, the job at FAU. And so it was not a mutual understanding from the way I viewed it. I think Nick, or Coach Saban, just kind of said, "Hey, look, why don't you go ahead and go start your job, and we'll try to win this championship." And I think it had everything to do with focus. And Sark, it's no issue at all, man. This dude is locked in, and he's got one of the great jobs in the country waiting on him. But I'm telling you, until they shower that night, January 11th, and he wakes up January 12th, he's right now Alabama's offensive coordinator. And I think Coach feels that there's no division within his thoughts. He's not already putting his staff together or thinking about what he's going to do. It's 100% focus on game planning for Ohio State. And so I think Coach respects that and wants him to be able to finish the season. So I think the only outlier really was Lane.
Yeah. So, all right, this game on Monday night. Everyone's expecting a shootout. Alabama's offense has been out of this world. They may even add Jalen Waddle back. Justin Fields was incredible against Clemson. How many stops does the winning defense need to make to win this game?
Would that be a bet? Do you know if that would be a bet we can make?
But I've been saying, I think it's only 3. I think if a defense makes 3 stops.
Are you counting field goals as stops?
No. It's got to be a punt or a turnover. 3 stops, I think, wins this game. Yeah.
Wow, that would play to what Ohio State would want, right? If it goes that way, because this game on paper, as we prepare for it, you're dead on. I mean, have you watched? We thought LSU's offense was one of the best offenses we've ever seen, and then this kid Mac Jones, Tua, Jalen Hurts, all these, they were already talking about the next quarterback. They weren't even thinking of Mac Jones, and here he is doing what he's doing. And you're right, if Waddle comes back, people forget Waddle. Devontae Smith was a second option when Jalen was healthy, and we see what he's done. So Ohio State's got to hope for turnovers We don't know, this COVID story that you guys heard about probably on Monday or Tuesday. We don't know what players are impacted by that, if they will have some guys out, because their defensive line, that's the rumors, their defensive line may have some people out with COVID. If that's an issue, that's the strength of their defense.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one area that they dominated Clemson, was the defensive line. And who's out? So I think 3 stops, I would say 3 or 4 stops would be a game that would be in the high 30s, low 40s for both. I think if that happens, that would be a good thing for Ohio State, because I think that would mean they're scoring with Bama, which I think if Ohio State wins, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try to score with Bama. Nobody has stopped this team, but people have scored on them. I mean, Ole Miss, you talked about Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss scored on them. Florida scored on them in the SEC championship. So that's the game that Ohio State's going to have to play. Then we got Justin Fields. Before he got hit by Skowski, he was a factor running the ball. After that hit, I mean, you guys saw he would scramble and just kind of duck down and just basically give up. How much further along is the hip pointer, and is it going to be a factor in this game? Because if he's hurt or if that injury's nagging and he can't run, that's a big problem for Ryan Day. They need him running and being that same athletic guy that he was most of the year.
So is it more about the hip or the ribs? Because it looked like there were some rib issues as well.
Totally agree. I mean, when you looked at the video, that helmet came down right at the ribs, right? Yeah. I don't have any idea, but they're calling it a hip pointer. So it's down lower, and he'll have some padding, and he's going to wear something that he's not real excited about in the game, because he doesn't like to have to do that. But your pain tolerance, and I don't know if he can. I don't want to get involved in speculating if he's going to get an injection or not. I don't know if he can. If he can, I would recommend doing it if it's just about dealing with pain, especially in a hip pointer area. Because like I said, if he's a 6 out of 10 when it comes to running and being a threat, then it's all on Trey Sermon to run, and it's all on the passing game. And against Bama, you go back over the years, whether it's been Johnny Manziel or Ole Miss had some guys, that gave them trouble. It's always a running quarterback that gives Alabama and Nick Saban fits.
Yep.
It's a tempo offense, and it's a quarterback who's a dual guy that can create and do some things with his legs. And that's Justin Fields, and that's Ryan Day. But if you take away that aspect of the offense, and again, I don't know if it will be taken away, but if he can't be effective running, then Ohio State, I think, would have a hard time staying up with Alabama's offense.
Have you had the moment where you've just taken a step back and been like, I can't, like, it's crazy how different this sport is than it was even 10 years ago. Like, you called the 21-0 Alabama LSU national title, and now we're sitting here being like, this game's going to be in the 70s. Easy. You know what I mean? Like, have you had that moment where you're like, this is a totally different game?
Yeah. I think especially when you grow up in the Big Ten, Wisconsin, Ohio State, it's 17-13 kind of games. That's what we grew up with. And now it's about scoring. It's about quarterbacks that can run and can throw. It's freshman quarterbacks coming in ready to play. It's about receivers that get downfield and can win one-on-one. It's just the game's just changed, and who knows? It's cyclical. Maybe it'll change, again and come around. But I don't see it. I mean, we've been really in this cycle for about 7 years now, where it's like which quarterback's going to have the ball last is going to win. But you're right. You do need to kind of step back and realize, even in the Peyton Manning era, it wasn't like this. It's just it's the up tempo, the Rich Rod, Chip Kelly, Randy Walker at Northwestern, Joe Tiller at Purdue. They all helped kind of change the game. Those offenses used to be offenses that were like, they'll never work in the Big Ten. They'll never work in the SEC. Now that's all you see all over the country are teams that are running this style of offense.
Yeah, it's not going to change either. I mean, the only thing that's going to affect it would be a rule change on defense to kind of give some of the defensive backs a little bit more help, or enact holding penalties a little bit more on offense. There's going to have to be some sort of like difference that comes down from officiating. Otherwise, I mean, we're not going to go back to the era of slugfest. Maybe some Big Ten games.
The only teams that do that are Wisconsin, Stanford when they were good. Notre Dame is kind of doing that, even though with the quarterback that they had, they were still able to be a little bit more tempo. But the equalizer now is to run I formation, because defenses never see it.
True.
So if you want to be a guy to change and be different, be a ball possession, I formation, run downhill, pound these defenses that are running 3-3-5. They're built for spread. They're built for space. So like Wisconsin, when they're good, they're beating people up at the line of scrimmage, and these defensive linemen and linebackers, they're just not used to playing it. So it's still there. It's just obviously not there like it used to be.
I mean, Wisconsin ran in the Mayo Bowl with 3 fullbacks on the field at the same time. I love that
Mayo
personally.
Bowl
Like
champs.
watching Wisconsin play against like Stanford, and the entire field is just fullbacks. To me, that's
I love
football
it.
porn.
Explain to me. No, it's the best. What's Big Ten weather in your mind?
Overcast.
Yep.
Natural surface. 52 degrees.
Ooh,
That's
maybe
a
get
little balmy.
that's a little warm there, Kirk.
Oh, you want to get into the high 30s?
No, I'm
maybe
saying like
getting
45.
45.
Yeah.
Maybe it rained in the morning. Now it's
But I don't want any sun though. It has to be overcast.
correct.
Has to be overcast. Yeah, that's Big Ten weather. And natural surface, grass. We want grass.
Yep. There's nothing better. There's the overcast, like as gray as you can get. Actually, I actually like the Big Ten weather when you can tell the sun is out there and it's trying to get through and it can't, but it's still like it's bright, but it's dark. I know that doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense.
It's the dome factor.
Yes.
That dome that's there from like Halloween till like April 1st. I mean, it's just like this big dome. That's Big Ten weather.
Is you growing up in the Big Ten and being around the Big Ten all the time a significant contribution to the fact that everybody always thinks that you're sunburned? So like I don't know if you know this, but on Twitter, if you do a search of Kirk Herbstreit sunburn, there's like thousands of replies, and
That's interesting.
I think it's because you are from the Big Ten and you're not used to having the sun come out. So if you go like watch a football practice outside, you don't think to bring sunscreen. Whereas if you're from the Southeast, sunscreen that's a required element if you're going to watch football practice.
Well, I'm going to blame my mom who's got some Indian in her background. So what happens to my skin, if I get in the sun, I get red and then I get kind of brown. I get kind of tan. My dad who's passed away, he's red or white. So I guess it's what I inherited, but if I get in the sun, you're going to definitely see I don't burn. A lot of my friends will burn. I don't sunburn, but I get a reddish. And then if I'm on air, especially when I was younger, if I ever got embarrassed or I got uncomfortable, I'm one of the, like I gave a speech one time in 9th grade. I'll give you a quick story. I gave a speech in 9th grade. I was a super shy kid, and the prettiest girl in the 9th grade class was in the first row. And I gave a speech, and I started to get embarrassed, and I turned super red when I was giving it, and she points up at me and said, "Oh my God, look how red he is," at my face. And I was humiliated to the point my senior year, it was time to give another speech. Teacher called on me to give my speech. I said, "No, I'm good." She goes, "What do you mean you're good?" She goes, "It's your turn." I go, "I'm not going." And she goes, "You're going to get a 0. And I said, "That's okay. I'll take the 0. And she goes, "This is like 25% of your final grade." I said, "Whatever, I'm good." So I've scarred for my life to give. In fact, to this day, I can talk on TV in front of millions of people, but if I have to get up in front of 65 people and give a speech, it's just not my calling. And it all goes back to 9th grade. So I appreciate you bringing that up, man.
No problem. Yeah, I had a similar experience, but mine was more about wearing sweatpants at the time.
Yeah. I read somewhere that you don't drink coffee.
Nah, I just never did. I never really got into it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm not like taking a stance against coffee. I never really liked it. I never got into it.
You just so the line was he doesn't have coffee. Instead, he relies on the power of adrenaline. What?
I do have that. I do have adrenaline when it comes to college football. I'm lucky enough to do something I actually love. But yeah, I've just never. I'll try it. I've just never. I guess when I go to Starbucks, I don't even know how to order. I don't even know. Like I hear people order. I don't even know what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I don't like black coffee. So no, I've never.
That's
crazy.
I
like this. I like sparkling water.
Yeah, I don't understand people who. I mean, I guess
it's intimidating going to Starbucks if you don't speak Italian for the first time.
So intimidating. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to. I don't even know what to order.
How do you get yourself pumped up in the morning? Do you have like a ritual? Do you like stare at yourself in the mirror and yell at yourself? Do you slap yourself in the chest?
When that's all you've known, I just wake up, drink a water, drink a juice, and roll.
So
you guys,
weird.
are you guys a big coffee drinker?
Yes.
I mean, just caffeine in general.
Yes, I'm dead inside until I have
Cola,
coffee. Like the
Mountain Dew.
adrenaline, like I don't have adrenaline left.
I drink a Coors Light normally to start my day.
There you
There,
go.
that's
Yes,
actually
yes,
a great
yes,
way to do it.
Yes.
You've been around Nick Saban a lot.
Coach.
Coach, excuse me.
Coach.
Bleep that out, Hank.
Coach.
You've been around Coach Saban a lot. Do you think he ever has fun?
Fun would be a relative term.
Right. Because I feel like if Nick Saban catches himself having fun, that's not actually fun for him. He's like, I've let my guard down.
No. Like fun for him, because I know, like, it's like Bill Belichick. Like, they both like to have fun, but they just don't like to have fun when they're coaching or when they're at a press conference. And what are the only two ways we typically see Bill Belichick and Nick Saban? They're coaching or they're at a press conference. Those are not their two places to have fun. I've been with Bill Belichick when he's having fun.
Mhm.
He's a great guy. And I've been with Nick Saban now Nick Saban, fun to him is fishing or golfing, something like that. He can have fun, but he definitely, both those guys give off a vibe that they're anti-fun, but they would surprise you. I can promise you.
Yeah, I feel like when Nick Saban's having fun, he's just, kind of neutral, and he doesn't like that. I feel like for him, fun is actually being, passionate, which translates to him being upset about something or trying to fix something or trying to. No. Here's what it is. For him, if he knows that he's currently making something better, if he's improving something, that's fun, even if he's mad while he's doing it.
Yeah. How about when he holds the trophy after he wins the title? It lasts for about 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he hands it to the players, and then he's off. It feels like he's off to go study film.
He's like, I got to go recruit
recruiting.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, this trophy presentation's a waste of my time.
It's like, that was a good 10.
He did that
10 seconds.
in the semifinal. He got the trophy and he just turned and was like, "Here, you take it." Like other things to do.
Yeah. I don't have any time for this.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, Kirk. Last question from me. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been, like I said, long overdue. Now you have to come on whenever we ask, just so you know.
Yeah, anytime. Man.
Yeah, you have to. But if you had to pick a game Monday night, if you had to pick a team Monday night, who would you pick? Kirk just wrote on a napkin he's taking Bama, and then he flashed it in front of us. Whoa, that's crazy.
Let me ask you, you guys, is everybody taking Alabama?
No, I'm taking Ohio State. I'm taking Ohio State plus 9.
You taking Ohio? Oh, plus 9. You're not taking them straight up?
I might take him straight up as well. There's something about like Trey Sermon, what he's done. I mean, it really does. I know it's silly to just say he's Ezekiel Elliott 2.0, but what he has done the last two games is the Ezekiel Elliott, like that Ohio State championship run. If they get him going again, like, why not? Why not?
The fact that you reminded me of the narrative that I had forgotten about, hand up, that Nick Saban struggles against mobile quarterbacks. We talk about that every year as being like the one thing that you can always say to sound smart about, like going up against Nick Saban.
You just need Johnny Manziel or Swag Kelly.
Yeah, exactly. You need Swag Kelly. If you can get Chad Kelly under center, then you're good. But you reminded me of that, so now I'm thinking that I might take Ohio State too. But I'm going one day at a time. I've got NFL playoffs to worry about tomorrow night. So
give me your NFL. What's the biggest surprise in the NFL Saturday, Sunday?
Ooh.
The Washington football team and the Chicago Bears are going to make it respectable and both be within 13 points.
Browns. The Browns. Yeah, the Browns could win. I think they're the team that everyone's written off this weekend. The Bears and the Washington football team we're here to hang out.
Are the Browns, their head coach is out? Is there anybody else out for them with COVID issues?
Yeah, I think they've got another coach out, but I think that the Browns are going to win too. I really do. I think that like the Steelers have proven to be kind of a fraud team the second half of the season. Even when they're good, they're only good digging themselves out a hole that they created for themselves. So I feel like the Browns, this could be the year for them. And if I were them, I would 100% cheat.
Who are the two teams in the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be the Bills and the Saints.
Bills
and Saints, or Bills and Packers. Yeah.
I'll go Chiefs.
Bills, so the Bills are.
Yeah.
They're legit.
Chiefs Bucs.
The Bills are a fun team to watch, but don't they have to go to Kansas City? Not that crowds are a huge thing, but
correct.
You got Kansas. Okay.
Kansas City does have the biggest home field advantage this year because I think they're having like 15,000 fans that are allowed in the stadium.
Yeah.
So there are some people there.
Hey, Bills KC would be a hyped AFC championship. That would be a great one. I hope we end up getting that.
Yeah, that would actually be a lot like Ohio State, Alabama. The over/under on that game would probably be around 75.
Yeah,
probably not
that'd be a
75, but
Definitely.
yeah, that's what I'm rooting for.
Well, Kirk,
Definitely a shootout.
thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it. We're going to set up a time where you and Bear come and watch some NFL with us. And thanks to Coors Light
Let's do it.
hooking this up. And good luck on Monday night on the call. And you're putting you down, Bama. You're picking Bama.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say it.
No, I'm keeping it clean, keeping it straight. I'm gonna sell that, as you said. I'm gonna put that out there maybe later, but not right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, write it on your feet and put it on OnlyFans.
Yes,
You'll get
perfect.
millions of dollars.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks for having me, and let's do it again. And Bear and I are definitely gonna come anytime you guys will let us come hang out. We'd love to come watch the games with you guys.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Kirk. Be well, man.
Okay. All right. See you,
See you, man.
fellas.
That interview with Kirk Herbstreit was brought to you by our great friends over at Movement in a tiny apartment in Southern California. 2 college dropouts teamed up to create a watch company that broke all the rules with fair prices, unexpected colors. They got that clean, original design that we love. MVMT, it's pronounced Movement. It grew into one of the fastest growing watch brands, shipping to over 160 countries across the globe. How many countries are there? I feel like they probably sold a watch in every country. Mm-hmm. That's remarkable. MVMT is great stuff. We love them. They've also got blue light glasses that protect your eyes from your screens. They have minimalist jewelry and a lot of other style essentials that don't break the bank, all designed out of their California headquarters. I love their watches. Their watches make great gifts. They're always people coming up being like, yo, PFT, what is that, a $600 watch? Nope, it looks like it, but guess what? You're not paying $400 to $500, $600 for a Movement watch. You can get these for around $100 is what you're looking at for the most part, but they look like they are legit top-of-the-line watches, and they operate like top-of-the-line watches. I've never had a problem with Movement watch. They've always worked perfectly for me. I love the guys over at MVMT. They are the absolute best, and they've got these straps that you can change in and out, so you can always be updating your watch style. If you want to go with a leather strap, if you want to switch it out to one of the more metallic ones, they've got those. They're fully customizable. MVMT is great, and they've got these blue light glasses that help you if you spend all your day in front of a computer. Check out their Everscroll blue light filtering glasses. They're a game changer. They help with eye strain. They help with if you have poor sleeping patterns. A lot of times wearing blue light glasses during the day can help your eyes get some rest at night. I love the modern styles that they have over there. If you want to elevate your look with style that doesn't break the bank, then join the movement. Get 15% off today with free shipping, free returns by going to mvmt.com/pardon. Again, that's mvmt.com/pardon.
All right, let's wrap up. We got football guy of the week, and then who's back of the week?
Billy,
go. Football guy of the week.
Football guy of the week.
Football guy of the week. Do you have it? Do you have it?
Jake
Do you have
has
it?
been
Do you have
doing
it?
a
Do you have
great
it?
job
Do you have
managing
it?
you this
Do you
week,
have it?
Billy.
I have it.
You have it?
All right. First up, we got Sean Payton's plan to get fans in the stadium. He
You mean
suggested
part of my takes plan?
That's
It
our
was your
plan.
plan,
We came up with this.
but he definitely, great
he
minds think
listens.
alive.
No, he listens to part of my take.
You know that?
yeah.
Yeah, he does.
All right, and 0 for 1.
No, to create a scientifically safe home field advantage in the Superdome. It's very Machiavellian to, and it's
that's a
justified
big word,
Oh,
Billy.
did you write
to
that
get.
down?
Yeah, I did.
How'd you spell Machiavellian?
MACHIAVELLIANISM.
That's pretty good for a
Nice.
millennial. The ends justify the memes.
Yes. So this one is actually really cool. This guy named Tyler Blomdale beat cancer,
Okay.
finished chemo,
Okay.
went out to ring the end of chemo bell,
Yeah.
was wearing an Aaron Rodgers jersey, and shotgunned a
eh.
beer.
Well, Aaron Rodgers could never do that.
Yeah,
Aaron
he
Rodgers would
shotgunned it
sip.
way faster than Aaron Rodgers.
Shout out
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers for giving the
And-
Barstool Fund. He also said he's going
Yeah.
to come on part of my take at some point.
I just
So
thought
also,
that, yeah.
fuck you, all the Packers fans who are like, Aaron Rodgers doesn't even know who you guys are.
I thought that was a huge football guy move because basically he just accomplished a huge hard task and then just made it harder on himself to celebrate, much like Tyreek Hill running through the whole defense. and
Okay,
doing
so
a
yeah,
you're,
yeah,
backflip
all right,
at the
so
1
you're,
yard line.
you're doing the
Let's-
cancer shaming thing to try to get us to be like, good job,
No,
Bill.
no,
Good
no,
job.
no.
No, good job,
No,
Bill.
that's the one.
Yeah, good job.
Anyway,
Why are you comparing this kid
No,
that
I'm
just
not
beat
cancer
cancer
shaming.
to
I'm not
Tyreek Hill?
cancer shaming.
I think
Danny
it's a
Smith,
great story that you just ruined by comparing him to Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Smith says he tested positive for COVID-19 and had minor symptoms. of his time on the COVID-19 list, he said, "I don't have many hobbies, and not to have football just about killed me, not the virus."
Yeah.
Huge football guy.
Big football
quote.
guy,
Yeah.
Danny Smith.
Basically-
he is.
Cuomo would have counted that as 10 deaths, though, in New York State.
Yeah.
He would have written a book about it. Yeah. Danny Smith is the biggest
Got
gum
Emmy.
guy in the world, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Last of the
That's
four.
his hobby, is just chewing gum. He's like, I like sitting, watching film, and then just honking down on a big piece of Bubblicious.
All right, you're 1.5 for 3 right now, but also one of those is you shamed us with cancer. Go ahead.
Ohio State tight end Luke Farrell on playing in big games. You can't be afraid to die out there. Huge. Extremely
That is-
Machiavellian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
That's
Machiavellian
not
also?
Machiavellian.
The
That's
end's
just
just
straight
right.
up
Well, he's
crazy.
just leaving it all out there, like
Yeah.
his
It's just-
life.
it's just
on the
badass.
field.
Well, I don't know
Leaving
if
his
the
life
ends
on the field.
justify the means if you die.
That's the means.
No, I'm
But
pretty
that's
sure
the
like,
end. The end. It's
Right.
the ultimate end.
But he like, you know,
other people
look,
die,
look,
not you.
Luke Farrell does all the dirty work on the Ohio State offense, so like he's a badass.
Okay,
He says that
okay.
he's not fucking around.
what
All right.
size is he?
Huge,
Yeah.
yeah.
huge.
All right, good job,
Unit.
Billy. You know what?
I
Good
actually
job.
have some more.
Yeah, yeah.
But
keep going.
since they lost this weekend, I didn't want to conclude in the 4. We had Mike Vrabel saying he'd fight every coach in the NFL.
Yes, I'd
Yeah,
love
he
to
would.
see
Which was
that.
another
He'd
Machiavellian
win
quote.
too.
Wait,
and
is he
then-
from the Bronx?
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
then Jared Veld here was a offensive tackle, I want to say. Yeah, left tackle on the Colts, who didn't play in the beginning of the season because he retired, but was coaching high school football. But during that time, he was, as an offensive line coach, he was realizing he was really missing football, and he got the itch to come
Wow,
back.
coaching football.
Yeah.
Okay, that should be on
Yeah.
there.
So,
He was missing football while coaching football.
exactly.
That's
So,
great.
when he got the opportunity to play for the Colts after the regular season, he took it and he started.
All right.
Okay.
Nice. Good job, Billy. Good job, Billy.
Yeah, Billy.
Snaps
Snaps
for
for
Billy.
Billy. He followed
I couldn't
through.
do it without Jake.
Also, yeah, I was going to say
Pestering me.
big time snaps for Jake
Not pestering,
for
it was
managing this
very
project.
nice.
All right. Let's wrap up. I know we've been a long show. Hank, who's back of the week?
Who's back of the week? I have a few. My first one is YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Part of
Oh,
my take.
yes. Yes.
YouTube channel. We're now uploading our full episodes on our Part of My Take
Hell
YouTube
yeah.
channel.
Am I on TV right now?
You are.
Hello there. Hey, I'm on
Yes,
the
go
boob tube.
subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. We're going to do a lot more YouTube stuff this year.
Wait, can I just hey guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below if you're
Mm-hmm.
digging all the stuff we're putting out in this video.
Hey, see that little button underneath you? Hit that like button.
You guys joke, but you're gonna actually start doing those soon. So.
No, and I want to. I want 2021 goal. Cross up more people with an invisible basketball. 1, get more YouTube subscribers. 2.
I got to make sure I'm more presentable.
No, this wasn't open forum
Yeah.
for everyone to throw out there.
Billy, you
New
look like a
Year's
YouTuber 24/7.
No, but now I got to like shave all the time.
We should have Billy just a giant like cartoony like neon colored outline of Billy's face, be like, "Pardon my take, new episode, Super
Yeah,
Wild Card
unboxing.
Weekend," and just Billy with a backwards hat and his arms crossed.
Yeah.
on the
That's
front
not
of
what a YouTuber look like.
it. You look like a YouTuber.
Then my other who's back is LaMelo Ball,
Yes.
youngest NBA player to ever have a triple double.
Yes.
All right, big
Beast mode.
ballers.
Yes. I was definitely hand up. I don't even know if I had a take on LaMelo Ball, but in my brain I was wrong because of that one time they made a highlight tape of all the times he pulled up at half court and bricked a shot. Mm-hmm. I was like, this guy stinks and he'll stink forever. Credit to me though, I've gotten off that. But that is how easily my brain can be.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. My who's back of the week is David Baker. David Baker's season is back
Nice.
upon us. He is the giant man that comes and surprises you when you made the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We interviewed him last year at the Super Bowl. He's even bigger in person than he is on the TV screen. So last year we got to see him. He surprised who? Jimmy Johnson, somebody else?
Cower.
Cower, and made him cry on national television. That was great. He's lurking right now because they've whittled the Hall of Fame down to kind of the last finalists. He's out there lurking, but it's not going to hit the same way this year because I don't think he can show up in person. I think it's going to be like a David Baker Zoom surprise is not going to be the same.
Agreed.
You need to have him standing next to something to let you know just how massive a human being he is when he pops up on the Zoom. I don't know what that thing
Silver
can be.
dollar.
Have him be holding like a chihuahua on a leash
Yeah.
when he comes on the screen. Because it's not going to be the same if you don't get that, if you don't understand just what a unit this guy is.
Yep.
But I'm still looking forward to him coming back. Who do you think, who could he show up and surprise this year? Howie Long's already in the
Tom
Hall of Fame.
Flores.
Tom Flores. with
Coors Light.
Coors Light guy, yeah.
Yeah. All right, my Who's Back. We didn't have a show Friday because we don't have shows on Friday. Well, we have shows on Friday. We don't tape on Friday.
What are you doing, Billy?
My Who's Back. I was about to get really emotional. My Who's Back of the week is unfortunately death. Tommy Lasorda has gone to the big Dodger in the sky. You ruined the moment, Billy. Shout out Tommy. We had some fun. We've had him on the show. We've had some laughs. Hell of a life he lived. 95 or 96, who knows? He doesn't know his own age, or he didn't. But yes, we will be making a visit back to death to try to talk to Tommy. One last interview with Tommy Lasorda.
He's up there and kicking the shit out of somebody.
Yep.
That's all I know.
Just fighting everyone.
Heaven for Tommy Lasorda is he gets up. He's probably still throwing heat.
Yeah.
He's probably talking shit to somebody behind home plate. The person says something to him. He punches them in their lip, and then he goes home and enjoys a nice big bowl of pasta with no sauce on it, no gravy on it.
Yep.
Remember that when Tommy Lasorda made fun of us for putting sauce on our pasta? He's like a real Italian guy. Just eats his pasta plain and he's happy with it.
That clip that I tweeted from our interview on Friday of him just like a mashup of all the fights he got in, and that one when he's like, and I says to him, I should have killed your father.
Yeah.
That was Tommy. All right.
There's only one way that we can properly eulogize Tommy Lasorda. Irvin Magic Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Fame Dodgers manager, LA icon, my great friend Tommy Lasorda passed away late last night. For the last 8 years, I've sat next to Tommy at every Dodgers game. He taught me invaluable lessons on the strategy and history of baseball. I will miss our conversations about the Dodgers and the Lakers. He meant the world to the Dodgers organization, MLB, and to the city of Los Angeles. He will always be known to Dodger Nation as Mr. Dodger. Cookie and I are praying for the entire Lasorda family. May he R.I.P. Prayer emoji hands. So shout out Tommy.
Shout out
we
Tommy.
love you.
AWLS.
AWLS, yes.
That's what he said.
Yes.
Take you awards.
All right, you got a Who's Back real quick, Billy? Let's do it.
We can just leave it at that.
No, Billy.
right.
Billy doesn't have one.
I have one.
He did.
All
the
right,
football
let's do
guy.
numbers. You're right.
My
Let's
Who's
do
Back
numbers.
of
Let's
the
do
week
numbers.
is UFOs. The
Okay.
U.S. intelligence agencies have 180 days to share what
All
they
right,
know
give me
about
number
you.
8. Give me number 8.
18.
100.
6.
100. Great fucking show,
44.
boys. 100.
41, says Liam.
What do we got?
That's like 9.
No, that's 8. That's
6?
got to be 8.
That's
That's
like
got to be 8.
Oh, 6.
Oh, it dropped back down.
Has this happened before?
We
I
had a
don't
little-
think during part of my take, but it's happened before.
I know it's
little
happened before.
malfunction.
We got to do it again.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time
Yeah,
it's
it's a
happened in
redraw.
an official
It didn't.
draw.
So some every like 1 out of every 10
Usually
times,
when there's less,
the
there's
ball doesn't go
smaller
suck
balls.
up.
Small ball.
Are we missing? Hey, maybe you could bring the ball back. 69.
No,
You fucking asshole.
I'm not bringing it back.
Workplace
84 was
theft
found on the
here.
floor
44.
today.
100.
What is that?
58. 85.
85? It's a good year.
Oh. And
They're feral hippos in Colombia. They're descendants of Pablo Escobar's private zoo.
We all know
hippos.
that
Yeah, we know that one.
Wow, last 3 of the last 4. 84, 85, 87. We're 3 of the
Whoa.
last 4.
Okay.
98 too.
Where's
but-
Pig 86? Love you guys.
Flamingos can drink boiling water and freeze their whole bodies.
Love you guys.
You know that one?